Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of their fourth round of Series 6, live from iRacing's virtual Brands Hatch circuit in beautiful Kent, England. This is an event of the PCA Sim Racing series brought to you by Hagerty. I'm Rachel Whiteford alongside Ricky Springer and Taylor Burris, and our producer for the evening, as always, the amazing Ryan Bauer. Ryan is using cameras created by Dougie Beard, and they look amazing. Don't forget, folks, this is brought to us by Hagerty. And since 1984, Hagerty has been the worldwide leader in collector car insurance. Everything they do is geared towards enabling and enhancing the experience of automotive enthusiasts and making sure the vehicles we all love and the lifestyles that revolve around them don't just survive, but thrive well into the future. Services include the Hagerty Drivers Club, Drive Share by Hagerty, Shop, and much more to fuel car culture. Hagerty, let's drive together. Well, Ricky, bring you in here. This track is a storied one. Brands Hatch. We're on the GP layout, of course, here today, which is 2.43 miles, 3.91 kilometers in length, 9 turns, and it opened originally in 1926 for motorcycle racing. This place has hosted everything from IndyCar to Formula One to BTCC touring cars and even sports car racing like this, GT3, GT4, Ginettas, everything, Formula Ford, everything has raced here. This place is legendary.
Yes, Rachel, a very interesting track in England, one of those racetracks that if you are any type involved in the road course circuit of racing in the world, you know what Brands Hatch is. An awesome circuit, and as I was doing a little bit of research on the backstory of this track, Rachel, it's been configured 3 different times, either adding corners or lengthening the track, and the original length of the track was ran backwards. It was actually ran in the anti-clockwise direction instead of what we know now as the clockwise direction that they run at the current Brands Hatch layout.
Certainly is, and it's had multiple different variants, of course. So you have the Indy layout, which, as you saw on the track back there, that little inside section, the kidney-shaped portion, they actually looped around before they went up Pilgrim's Drop out of Surtees and rejoined at Clark, which is the final corner, and you can see there, basically the C shape that you see at the start, the left-hand side of your screen. That was the Indy layout, where IndyCar actually raced here, one of a couple of places, including this and, oh god, I've forgotten, but the only oval track we have in the UK, or the only big oval track, I should say. However, this track is phenomenal, and we're here for the challenge race tonight, of course. We're in the last moments of qualifying, and, of course, the challenge series is brought to you by Z1 Dashboard. PCA Sim Racing Challenge class sponsor for this season. We're on version 2021.1 of that, and it's just been released. Now, with that comes the new Z1 Designer. The Z1 Designer lets you create your own custom dashboards to use with the Z1 Dashboard, and in addition to that, in addition to the almost 200 car dashes, the track maps, standing, specialty displays, you can add your own custom designs, placing the data you want exactly where you want it. Remember, the Z1 Dashboard also takes care of the engineering and strategy for you. Where's your competition? When should you pit? How much fuel do you need? And who is in front of or behind you? How's the weather? Are you gaining or losing time to other drivers? Make sure you're maximizing your on-track performance with the Z1 Dashboard. Remember to use the discount code PCA21 when purchasing to get a 15% discount on either the standard or track license. Using the Z1 Dashboard to examine your laps is an essential tool to becoming a faster driver. To find out more, visit www.z1dashboard.com. Of course, this track, it's amazing, especially for cars like this. Porsches, and especially the roof track we're running for this, as we now click over to the grid, it's ideal for them. Speaking of grids, let's go through this one. Starting on pole tonight will be Glenn Dennis of your zone number 2. Zone number 10's Stephen Kemp is in second place. Third place, zone number 9's Matt Dialosa. Fourth, Ajit Barua of zone 4. Zone 6 is Volker Krebs in 5th place. 6th is zone 5's Aaron Nations. 7th, zone number 9's Scott Rogers. Zone number 6 is JR Gregory in 8th with 9th place. Zone 8's Albert Ubeta. 10th is zone number 1's Terence Tong. 11th place, zone number 1's Kim Frick. 12th, zone number 10's Andrew Hillman. 13th, zone number 13's Greg Palmer. That must be fate. 14th, zone number 6 is Jake Geiger. 15th, zone 3 is David Purdy. Rest of those positions up on your screen as Ricky. We're about to go racing here now. I believe we're parked in... Where are we on the track? We're just before Sterling's here, so we'll be coming down clearways through Clark Curve. Pace car will pull off there, of course, to pit road as we come through Clark. Onto the Bradham Straight where we start tonight, and we're going to get ready for 30 minutes of racing action here for the challenge class. It's going to be a very, very intense one for us. This track is fast. It doesn't look it, but it is a very, very racy circuit.
Absolutely, Rachel, and it's very different from what we saw last week at Long Beach, a very small, technical, bumpy course, and now to long straightaways and, well, the very well elevation changes here at Brands Hatch.
Absolutely, it's a roller coaster for these cars, and they will be going up, down, left, right, and let's hope they stay on the track, because runoff, well, there's runoff, but nothing asphalt as the cars take control. Green flag flies, and we're away here at Brands Hatch, running up the straight here, Brabham, into Paddock Hill Bend. The big first dive down as we get a turning in the first corner. We'll come back to that in a second as we go up through Pilgrim's Rise towards Druids for the first time tonight. It's a 5-car breakaway here as everyone's trying to find their footing. No real room. Everyone's not quite sure where to go. Everything's been turned up and down. Got a car that went round, I think, just after Druids. We'll keep an eye on that one, but we'll take a quick look back at what happened at the start there for our drivers as things got turned incredibly sideways.
Yeah, and a lot of these drivers just trying to battle for the same piece of real estate makes things very difficult, especially on a tight and narrow track. Not a whole lot of runoff of usable space. As soon as you get off of the tarmac here, it's just right onto the grass. So not a whole lot of room for error in these roof track cars for these drivers to even dip 1 to maybe 2 tires off and continue going straight.
Certainly not, and it was J.R. Gregory just didn't have enough room in that corner that caused a little moment back there, which changed the dynamics of the front of this field. It split the top 5 here, Ricky, away from our field, which really modified how this thing was going to play. So interesting how that's happened. Of course, Scott Rogers, I think we've got here, I think he put his nose in there. He's been black flagged for the orange zone incident at the start of this race, so he'll have to come down and serve a penalty for that. Glenn Dennis is going to come across and complete lap number 1 here at Brands Hatch. You blink and you miss one. 1 minute 22 in length is our qualifying laps. It's fast here as Glenn Dennis already opening a gap, 1.1 seconds over Matt Dialosa, who's only got the top 3 with him, Dialosa and Kemp. Krebs is a little bit further back. Ubeta is right with him as Terence Tong, one of our standouts that's just joined this season, is really putting up a good showing here. He's currently running in 6th place.
Yeah, and Terence Tong has really been the talk since he joined the series. Finished 2nd last week at Long Beach, just behind JR Gregory, who had some issues early in the going here. But a very standout driver in P6 right now, joined in and had a lot of momentum in the first race and has carried that on through last race and looking to carry it on this race as now he's in a battle.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's trying to get himself involved in this. He's made his way past Ubeta there, which will be a big move for him. That puts him into 5th place as we're down towards the bottom of the circuit, through Hawthorne, down towards Westfield now. This is one of the most fun parts, through Dingledale, that kink there, as they come up to a very fast corner. This one here, Dingledale corner, it's a kink really, just lifting as you catch the curb there, setting yourself up here for Sterling's, the left-hander. Then it's a nice shoot through here on clearways towards Clark Curve, where the Indy track joins. You can see that track joining there just towards the end of clearways. Gorgeous setup here as they'll come across Brabham Straight again. climbing up for that big drop down here from Paddock Hill, and it really takes an onboard look to see just how aggressive this is. As you see him dropping down here, we've got Andrew Hillman there, P7, climbing up here under the bridge towards Druids. It's this hard right-hander, 180 degrees round, dropping down again. It really is like being on a big roller coaster now, dropping here, catching the corner early for Graham Hill. Loses a bit of runoff there, one of the few places of actual drivable runoff, now through Surtees, named after the F1 legend John Surtees, of course. Climbing up now before you drop down here, as we'll see on the camera. Climbs up and dropping after the bridge. Big dive here on Pilgrim's Drop, aptly named, into Hawthorne. Come around here on the Derek Minter Straight, this short little chute at the bottom into Westfields, and then it's the climb up towards the end of the lap. This place is absolutely enormous when it comes to the elevation changes. It doesn't look it from the camera angles we often see, but this place, you are up and down, up and down. There's elevation in the corners. It's crazy.
100%. And tracks like this, it's never done justice until you go somewhere like this and truly attend a race and really get the true idea of the elevation changes, especially when you're walking to different viewing points of a track like this, is really when you get a good idea of the elevation changes. But even a camera like that, you can see the cars just dip off the end of the hill and you lose sight of them there, and especially coming through the final corner as well. But
Albert Yabata just lost it in Paddock Hill on his own. He slid across the corner, but he holds onto it there. It's going to mean he's just losing time. There's a lap car pitting out that was just in the way of the corner. I think he overestimated how much room he needed. Slid some grass, but he keeps himself going there. Nice recovery from him. Glenn Dennis's gap is down to about a second now, so we've seen Madiosa catch up some time. That is a big advantage for him. He's got to work hard here to catch Glenn Dennis, who's had a really, really strong record so far. Of course, heartbreak last week at Long Beach for him. That really hurt his chances, but he's been winning some serious races in this series so far in Challenge Class, Ricky, and it's showing tonight again.
Yeah, and that's just really a good all-around driver. A beautiful camera angle right there as he just drives straight over the camera on the rumble strip. But, you know, what a way to start off the PCA competition season for the Challenge Series, to go out and just start winning races. But talk about a strong driver. He is one of the strongest here in the Challenge class, and very well versed on all the different types of road courses that PCA visits during the season.
Very much are, of course, and this is obviously a personal favorite of one of the admin team. I believe it was Doug's pick, Doug Atkinson's pick for the series this time around. And I must say, I fully agree with him. It's a wonderful place. Been here in real life. It's a gorgeous circuit. And the weather, for some reason, at races always seems to be so nice. This is one of those places. Kent, it's lovely anyway. I mean, it's a bit far south for me, but hey, you know, what can you do? Quite close to London, actually, for this circuit, or just south of it, actually. But as we come around Surtees yet again, we're looking here at P15, Tim Pruitt, as he's racing along towards Paddock Hill again, diving it down. Gorgeous Dougie Beard camera angles there. Look at those shots, gorgeous. Climbing up through Druids now into the corner. Can he make it work? He does. Holds that position nicely, diving down towards Hill. Gets the right line he needs, uses that runoff and gets it back in line nicely. Sets up here for Surtees again. This big one. Really important to get good flow through Surtees here. It sets you up for the huge run up, which will kill momentum if you don't get the corner right before you can drop down Pilgrims here towards Hawthorne. Just ahead of them there, we've got Greg Palmer, who's running with Iwata, looking for an opening. Not going to find it yet. Coming up towards Dingledale. Keeping positioning still, looking for an option. Milwaukee region driver really going for this tonight. Looking for an option. He won't find it just yet. Cars are really separating out here, although we've had Hillman's pull to pit road here, so unfortunate for him. He's going to be pitting in for possible damage. I know black flag for an incident in the orange zone at the start of the race for him too, so he's serving a penalty there. Stephen Kemp in third place is running about 3 seconds back from your leader. Dialosa is not closing. He's actually dropped back now, so Glenn Dennis managing that gap. About a second we're keeping an average here, Ricky. And that's all you need.
Yeah, and it also comes down to if you just have the tiniest bit of damage. I haven't quite gotten a chance to look at all the cars through the field, but just a little bit of damage can really hurt you. You were talking about that extremely important run through Surtees to then go towards Pilgrim's Drop, and really all of the straightaways and the corners here require a good amount of downforce, and these cars, if they just have a slight fender crinkle, will really hurt the dynamic of these cars as they work their way through these fast corners.
Oh, absolutely can. Absolutely can. Well, we're on lap number 6 right now for your lead cars, and the race has been really flowing pretty quickly so far. We are not far into this. About 9 minutes into your race tonight, and so much has happened already. Absolutely crazy. We've also got a black flag showing up as well for JR Gregory here, so that's 3 drivers now serving penalties from the start of this race. Things have cleared out a little bit. Volker Krebs clearing some lap traffic here as they pass Hillman pitting out, along with Terence Tong. So Krebs got back past him. Oh, it was Ubeta he passed, so he's going after Terence Tong here, coming for Volker Krebs. And is this a passing of the crown sort of thing here? Because Terence Tong is showing some real performance, and I know we mentioned him in most races, but the Upper Canada Region Zone 1 driver is very new to this series, but he is absolutely showing he deserves to be here. If anything, this is one of our rising stars.
100%, and really dancing with danger there, using that runoff, Rachel, but if you just get a little bit too far, you can still get into that grass, but pushing that car with everything he has here tonight at Brands Hatch, and it seems to be the mood that he has gone with since his entry into PCA competition in the challenge class, has really put everything out there, put his best foot forward to try and get himself up to the front half of the field, and has done well from what we've seen so far.
Very much so, as the gap 1.4 seconds now for Dennis over Delosa, 1.9 as they both cross the timing line. That is massive. Looking down here towards some of our midfield drivers, coming up through Clark, or actually no, Dingledell, heading up towards the corner, diving in now. Look how close they are through there. Absolutely no room for error. Into a Sterling. Through the corner they'll come. This one nicely banked to get them around the corner quickly. Coming up now through clearways under the advantage bridge. Under they'll come. Dropping it down onto Graham Hill as they'll come through Clark curve at the end. Big push now down the straightaway. In towards Paddock Hill. Big braking here. Turning it in to the right. Diving down that hill. Have to keep it on line or you will run wide, using all of that runoff there as the car had an incident just ahead of them. They'll come braking now into Druids. Sideways, round they go. Craig Smith misses the incident there just ahead of him. That was Ankerberger's son. Actually, that wasn't. That was actually Tim Pruitt who had the moment there. We just missed. Fortunate for him.
Yeah, Tim Pruitt was really on the back bumper there, trying to push and had a great run going, but unfortunately when you go down that hill right there, it just gets so uneasy with the car, and as it bottoms out at the bottom, especially coming out of that 180-degree hairpin, it gets very uneasy, and just a little tap of the throttle could send you around.
Absolutely. We just missed a battle there with Terence Tong and Volker Krebs. Tong passed him by. Krebs, he must have had a moment. He's actually dropped some serious time here on the 388, so must have been a slight mistake there for Volker Krebs. Gotta say, I love that Haribo car he always drives. It always makes me hungry. Gosh, that's always so frustrating. I see the Haribo car and I desperately want some. I guess advertising works, folks. But as he'll come through, trying to regain that time, he's now going after a few other cars, but Terence Tong has a long way ahead of him, some lap traffic before he gets anywhere near Stephen Kemp, who is a good 10 seconds clear of him, dropping down into Hawthorne himself. Delosa coming past as Glyn Dennis almost at Dingledell already, so that gap is opening even further. 2.3 seconds now. The draft's been broken, much clearer of how things are running here, so making things a lot more lively for our leader. 23 cars on our lead lap, and we are only 13 minutes into this thing. There's big moment ahead of some of our cars towards the front of the field. Clear of the track, so no impact on our racing. Glyn Dennis, it happened just in front of the leader, so could have been a moment for him, but keeps himself clean. And this time there's no walls for him to run into, really, as a car goes round on the racing line in front of our leader. Oh God, my heart was in my mouth. I just talked about how there's no walls for him to hit, but there are definitely cars, Ricky.
100%, and I believe there was a little bit of a flashback to last week for Glenn Dennis there, as he had issues with a lap car last week, is what brought him out of the running and was very close. And then right there as well, Rachel, as that car rolled back down the banking, very, very close to getting into Glenn Dennis there.
Oh, incredibly close. There's more cars having incidents in front of our leader. This is horrifying. Someone went off on the run down Pilgrim's drop there. And there's a lot of lap traffic here ahead of the leader. Of course, the 1 minute 22 second lap time is very fast. So our Potomac Region Zone 2 leader in Dennis is having to lap them pretty early on here. So 1 minute 22, not a long lap at all. And he's coming up on people thick and fast now. He's up to 20th place. Bruce Friobi next car. I think he just passed Bruce, but it's coming so quickly now. The traffic's getting more dense and it's becoming more terrifying as people make mistakes realizing the leader's coming up behind them. If I was Glenn Dennis, I wish I was wearing the brown race suit.
For sure. Unfortunately, he's either wearing white in that interesting colored car or possibly a bright color. I think it might stand out a little bit, Rachel. I don't think the brown suit would possibly go well, but he might think about buying one after the last 2 weeks.
It certainly is. And looking at the battle for 10th place here, we've got Craig Smith coming up for, I think that's Ankerberger's son. No, it's not. It's actually Andrew Smiley who's looking for its P10 on Craig Smith, looking back there towards his car. Coming down through Hawthorne. Actually, is that Hawthorne? I'm getting very confused. Nope, that's not Hawthorne. That was actually Westfield, in the bottom corner there. I should remember that name. They're my health provider. Oh well. Anyway, coming up now to the top of the track. Through Sterling there. Up Clearways. Gap's looking like it's maintaining right now, so Smith has managed to pull out some time, but will he be able to hold it long enough? Ashway, the car ahead there. Actually, Bergerson, the car ahead. They are gaining on Bergerson, so that should be interesting to see what we'll see happen. Looking back a little bit further here. Good knot of cars racing down to that same part of the track we just seen. That's Pruitt in 16th. Coming up Clearways now towards Clark Curve. Pruitt's in a bit of a sandwich here. We've got Barua behind him, McCune ahead of him. And it looks like we'll see a pass here by Barua. Gets the run on the inside, which will give him the position into Paddock Hill. Clears in before the braking zone for Paddock. Looks as though maybe Pruitt gave up a little bit early just to let him free there. Oh, round goes the car ahead of them. That was, I believe, a Andrew McCune. Unfortunate for him. 15th place will drop back a few positions.
Yeah, Rachel, and that was actually just in front of Glenn Dennis again, where that incident happened. So you could see he worked his way by Tim Pruitt there as he works his way now towards the back half of the course. But very close incidents from the Potomac Region driver of Zone 2 of Glenn Dennis has been in his fair share of stuff, and he might just want to back out here as two lap cars battling side by side in front of him.
Yeah, they absolutely do, folks. And as we cross the halfway point of tonight's Challenge Class race, it is time to bring you the Midway Race Report, brought to you by Z1 Dashboard. Of course, don't forget, version 2021.1 of the Z1 Dashboard has just been released. And with this comes the all-new Z1 Designer. The Designer lets you create your own custom dashboards to use with the dashboard system from Z1. So in addition to the almost 200 standard car dashes, track maps, standings, specialty displays, you can add your own custom designs, placing the data you want exactly where you want it. Remember, the Z1 Dashboard also takes care of all the engineering and strategy for you. Where's your competition? When should you pit? How much fuel do you need and who's in front or behind you? How's the weather? Are you gaining or losing time to other drivers? Make sure you're maximizing your on-track performance with the Z1 Dashboard. And remember to use the discount code PCA21 when purchasing to get a 15% discount on either the standard or track license. Using the Z1 Dashboard to examine your laps is an essential tool to becoming a faster driver. To find out more, visit www.z1dashboard.com. And with that in mind, let's take a look at our drivers and where they're running currently. P1, Glenn Dennis, led from the pole, still there. The 20 car from the Potomac region of Zone 2 is putting on a fantastic showing for us tonight. Let's hope he keeps it the way he needs it, out front and in pointing the right way. P2 is Matt DeLosa, the 90 car, started third. He's in second right now. The Rocky Mountain region zone number 9 driver is pushing pretty hard. He's trying to keep up, but 3.6 seconds back. It's not looking too hopeful. Third place, Stephen Kemp. He's about 8 seconds back from your leader. Was second drop back at the very early start of the race, the 137. Nordstern region, zone 10 driver. P4, Terence Tonga, rising star, the 388 machine from Upper Canada region of zone number 1. Absolutely pushing it tonight. He is showing a great run here. He's up 6 positions from 10th on the grid to 4th. 5th place, started where he currently is running. Volker Krebs, the 053, the Haribo Master, the Canada West region, zone 6 driver, is doing a great job here, maintaining position, looking for good points. P6 tonight, 71 machine of Robert Benson, the Rennsport region of zone 1, is doing a great job as well. He is up 10 positions from 16th to 6th, so he's flying in this one tonight. And just like that, behind him, P15 is now running 7th, David Purdy. Nope, that is Jeff Lashway. They swapped positions just a moment ago. 22nd to 7th, huge for him. 35 car, the Hudson Champlain region of zone 1. P8, there's Purdy, the 010 car, the Peach State region zone 3 driver, is putting it on, 16th to 9th, or 8th, having a great race. P9, Anker Bergerson, the 248 machine, Northeast region of zone 1. A lot of zone 1 drivers in this one tonight. Definitely pushing his way here. He's from 21st to 9th. P10, Andrew Smiley, the Connecticut Valley region of zone 1. The 167 car has gone from 23rd to 10th, so 13 places gained. Huge movement.
Yeah, just outside of the top 10, the 74 of Craig Smith, the Mid-Ohio region of Zone 4. Driver very close to me up in the northern part of the United States. The 12th spot going to be the 407 of Benjamin Loving, Florida Citrus region of Zone 12. Rocking the blue car as you see him work his way towards the back half of the course. 13th spot going to be Abhijit Barua from the Mid-Ohio region as well of Zone 4 in the 991 machine, as a very iconic number in the Porsches and roofs, of course, respectively. And now to the 14th position, going to be Tim Pruitt in the 329 from the Peach State region of Zone 3. A tiny bit of damage on that roof track car. Doesn't look like it's hurting him too much, so he's working his way back up through the field. Albert Kubica from the San Diego region of Zone 8 in the 23 car is doing a fine job in the 15th spot. 16th spot as we keep rolling our way down, Andrew Hillman, the Skolman region of Zone 10, the all-white machine number 14. So he is in a close battle right there. Looks like a lead lap car working his way around. 17th spot going to be Stefan from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1 in the number 25 machine, working the different colored racing stripes there, Rachel, as he works his way through the back half of the field. 18th spot will be Michael from the Origin region of Zone 6 in the 021 machine. The 19th position will be Scott Rogers in the 737 from the Rocky Mountain region of Zone 9. 20th spot, just inside the top 20, is going to be Chris Pippin from the Kansas City region of Zone 10 in the 32 machine, Rachel.
Very much so. 21st, Jason Sherwood, the 6 car from the Diablo region of Zone 7. Keeping that car moving today. He's currently down 1 position. Behind him, Craig Sutter, the 33 car from the Cimarron region of Zone 5. Craig is up 7 places right now. And that is Bruce Friobi, the 130 machine, Red River region of Zone 10. Bruce is up a position so far in the race tonight. 24th place will be Jake Geiger, the 968 Pacific Northwest region of Zone 6. Jake is currently back 10 positions after an incident earlier on. Daniel Dugas is in the 25th spot, the 16 car from Hill Valley region of Zone 5. He's up about 7 positions as well. Andrew McCune there, the 55 car, we saw him earlier on, much further up. He'd gained so much track position, unfortunately he's now running 1 position back from where he started, or 1 position ahead of where he started, I should say. Rocky Mountain region, zone number 9. 27th car is Stacey Iwata, the 8th car from Canada West region of zone 6. Stacey Iwata is unfortunately back 8 positions from where they started. Behind them, we've had Lopez off the track, so Robert Isle is currently running in 29th. He's just coming out of pit road. Started 31st and 29th at the moment, the 046 Ohio Valley region of zone number 4. The way things are looking, those are the last of our cars who are currently running on the racetrack. So that has been your Midway race report today, brought to you, of course, by the Z1 Dashboard, the sponsor of the challenge class of the PCA here. Well, back to our racing we see on track, and wow, this has been telling so far. Glenn Dennis has lapped up to nearly P10. Can anyone stop this madman? We're looking currently at 12 cars that are only on the lead lap. This is insane. He's currently going after, I think that's Tim Pruitt he's just passed. So Glenn Dennis is working that traffic. He is after them like they stole his Haribo. And I can't get Haribo out of my mind now. Product placement works. He's stuck in my head. Darn you, Volker Krebs. Either way, Dennis is pushing this thing hard, going for everything he can get today. He's keeping it clean. That's the important part. The gap is 5.2 seconds here back to De Losa. De Losa's got that position locked, but so's Kemp actually in 3rd place. Respectively, good margins away from other drivers. This is a great performance. He really must feel he has to prove himself after, unfortunately, having that poor ending to Long Beach.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers had unfortunate endings at Long Beach. It was kind of that wild card race that not a lot of drivers knew exactly what was going to happen with the field going off into that very tight turn 1 area. And the whole track in general, a lot of problems that we saw for some of the front runners there last week in PCA competition. So this has to be a nice refresher for these drivers to get out on a track that not necessarily has a lot more room, but at least some room for error that if you do go off the course, there's some grass to slide into, not necessarily a concrete barrier. But Glenn Dennis sure likes the track that he's on this week without the lap traffic, well, on the track at least, as he is flying around. That machine is on rails, Rachel.
Very much is so. Glenn Dennis cannot be stopped unless by the curse of the commentators, which we're touching wood. So he is lapped 11th place here. He is going for this thing. In fact, no, not 11th. He has lapped P10. This guy is moving. He is going forwards with absolute abandon here. I wonder how far he can get. There's a good possibility he'll lap up to P5, which is insane. Glenn Dennis is a missile right now. That guy is flying. Nothing short of, I don't know. This is a crazy performance. This must be a track that really suits him. I look forward to talking to him hopefully after the race again. Touch wood. Nothing goes wrong with that, of course, as the more I talk about it and try and dissuade it, the more I'm unfortunately talking about it, so we'll move on. But Glenn has had a great race. Absolutely fantastic. De Losa doing a great job there too. Tom's gap has settled in here. We are looking at 8th place at the moment, which is going to be Bergerson and Benjamin Loving, who is loving his chances of getting past here. I'm at a British track, deal with the puns. Loving is moving up here. He's come from 27th and Bergerson from 21st. So both big rises here to make it into the top 10. Although, they are next on the dinner menu for Glenn Dennis. So they need to be careful here because this could either be what undoes this battle for Loving and lets Bergerson get away, or this could be what brings Bergerson into the loving arms of the 407.
Yeah, and these drivers are going to have to be careful with that, but as well as Glenn Dennis is going to have to be careful trying to pass a battle like this. Once you start to get inside of the top 10, Rachel, that's where things get a little bit difficult. The cars are not exactly keen on trying to let you by and give up the race and the battle that they're in currently, so more and more difficult it's going to become for that bright greenish yellow machine to get by the lap traffic as he works his way now down to the back half of the course.
Very much, and looking back here towards 27th, because we have our biggest battle in the field all the way back here with Stacey Iwata and the crew. Now it's McCune, Friobi, Dugas ahead of them as we're coming up through Dingledale. And a car behind him there, I think that's Robert Isle, who's looking for a position. He's ahead of them there. He's actually lapped down from those guys. Huge congestion there in Stirling as everyone's trying to find a way through here. Crazy, crazy racing in this one as we're a little bit further back in your pack. They're 2 laps down, but they are racing like this is for the win. This is great, great on-track action and lots of respect between these drivers, giving each other good room here, moving through the traffic. A little congested there on the Brabham Straight, diving into Paddock Hill. Moving down now, the gap's opening up a little bit here, and this is allowing Guata to really gain some track position on this one, so big advantage there for him. Looking towards where our lead cars are racing. Oh, big knot of traffic here ahead of Benjamin Loving and Bergerson. This could be exciting. Traffic all around them as the battle closes in now. The leader is coming, but right now they've got more problems here on the table than this, as they're trying to find a way through a lot of these cars. Getting very, very busy at the moment. Clearing through onto Pilgrim's Drop here. And that's a lot of cars ahead of them, most of which are lap traffic based on the timing we're seeing. Other than, I think, Smiley, who is coming up just ahead of them. Actually, he is on the same lap, as is Purdy. So 2 of those cars ahead are for position. Looking back from Muradaka here. Towards Benson and Pippin. Keep an eye on this battle, though, with Loving and Bergerson. Oh, we've got Benjamin Loving off. What happened to him? Oh, single car moment, caught some curb, got sideways, saved, didn't save the car. Unfortunate. But he isn't loving that barrier. Comes through, unfortunately. This really relieves the pressure though, Ricky, on Bergerson. He's now got a lot of room here to make some moves. Actually get some breathing room here, because this allows him to go after Smiley and Purdy ahead of him, which could mean big positions and points, so that's useful.
Yeah, and this is a very difficult track to have somebody hot on your tail and in pursuit, because one tiny little mistake, as we just saw there, could go for disaster if you go too hard off the track. And Glenn Dennis still putting on a clinic here tonight in the challenge class, has done great all year, Rachel. But as we're looking at the field, I believe that the white flag has just came out this time by Rachel.
Very much so. White flag is out for Glenn Dennis. Looking at our timer, it is at 0. So this will be our final lap here, as the car's off just ahead there. Don't tell me that was Bergerson. That was Bergerson. Unfortunate for him, but Benjamin Loving is way more damaged, so he might maintain position, I think, here. With other cars being a lap down, he could actually maintain position with this one, so we'll have to see. Glenn Dennis, though, is past him, so I don't know if he will. Lashway could have gotten past there. I think he has. Dennis, though, coming up through Dingledale. This will be the final lap. Closing in now through Stirling one more time. Long clearways now. 1 corner left for Glenn Dennis. He will undo the curse placed on him at Long Beach, where he was winning by so far, and the track took it away from him so cruelly. But it will be all forgiven at Brands Hatch, as he will come across the line to win. Bringing it home with that first place here tonight. Dialosa behind him coming home. 8 seconds adrift. Comes out of Clark now. Onto Brabham. Ahead of the lap down car there of Bergerson. Stephen Kemp is limping. He is maybe out of fuel. I don't know. No, he shouldn't be. But he is limping through that corner incredibly slowly compared to other cars here. But he's got a lot of time behind him to Tong. He'll make it into 3rd place. So those will be our top podium finishers. Dennis, Dialosa, and Kemp. With Stephen Tong, Terence Tong even. Stephen Kemp, Terence Tong coming home in 4th place. Just behind them. Volker Krebs had dropped back a little bit, but he maintains that 5th place where he started and brings it home in nice order. What a race, Ricky. This has been a huge one.
Yeah, and that just goes to show what we're going to expect through the rest of the night here, Rachel. A lot of close battling and a lot of shunts we've seen today as well. But these drivers, as we start to get up, and as we see the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars take to the track here in just a little while, that's when the racing is going to start to get ever much better. But the roof track going to be our next race as well. Absolutely will,
and the roof track has provided incredible racing here tonight at Brands Hatch. I look forward to the next race, and if previous trends tell us anything, the races get faster as we go through sport into club into pro. This was amazing. What are we going to have when we get to the pro race? It's going to be crazy. Well, your post-race results there. Glenn Dennis brings it home with the win, with Matt DeLosa in second place, Stephen Kemp in third, Terence Tong fourth, and Volker Krebs in fifth. Behind them, Andrew Smiley, David Purdy, Anke Bergerson, Jeff Lashway, Tim Pruitt, and in 11th place, Avjit Brewer, Benjamin Loving, Craig Smith, Andrew Hillman, and Albert Ubeta. Rest of those positions up on your screen. Folks, do not go anywhere. We will be right back with you in just a moment's time with your sport race. Welcome back, folks, to the PCA Sim Racing Series here. We are back with your sport class race tonight, brought to you by Pirelli. Pirelli was founded in Milan in 1872 and is a global brand known for its cutting-edge technology, high-end production excellence, and passion for innovation that draws heavily on its Italian roots. Pirelli is among the world's major producers of tyres and is an OEM supplier to Porsche. Find out more about Pirelli at www.pirelli.com. Guys, we're back at Brands Hatch, of course, as well, and we bring you, of course, the always amazing Taylor Burris joining us here, as always, alongside myself and Ricky Springer. This race, if it's anything like the last one, guys, is going to be insane.
Talking with you in between the getting set up for the next race, Rachel. From what it sounded like, yeah, it was very exciting, full of energy and chaos. Well, drivers now are going to have to step it up a little bit here in the sports class as we get ready to go with this. But keep an eye on some of the drivers we have in here. Will Waldron, who's been on an absolute tear so far this season, along with Organ Golap and John Martin, who are currently the fastest right now in qualifying. I think this is going to be interesting to see who can come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing what we do with that one, as I realize I shouldn't be saying absolutely as much. It's my favorite word, apparently. So that's me. Either way, Waldron looking like he's got things in the lock here for today. We'll have to see how he performs in tonight's race. But with that in mind, the cars are about to head to the grid, and with our 38-car field, this one's going to be a little bit busier, I think, guys, than we had last time out in Challenge class. So let's take a look at what we have coming up for tonight's race. Of course, same car and conditions, realistically, slight change for the drivers. But on track, Will Waldron from Zone 1 is in first place, with Zone 1's John Martin in second. Third place, Zone 4's Olgren Gerlach with P4. Zone number 5's Will Kelly. Of course, this is the Texas race, basically, sport class. Jason Bronigan from Zone 5 in 5th place. 6th place is Zone 5's Gregory Sampson with 7th place. Zone 3 is Curtis Crummell. Zone number 1's Dean Chapman in 8th. 9th place, Zone 1's Ben Lung, with Zone 5's Robert Walden in P10. 11th, Zone 3's Daniel Florian. Zone number 1's Carl Boccieri in 12th. Zone 3 is Donald Blinkley in 13th. 14th, Zone 10's Nick Paglia. 15th, Zone number 1, Adam Gerling. Rest of those positions up on your screen, folks. Ricky, am I going to lose my voice even more during this next race?
I believe so. I think these drivers are going to give it all they had. The very first race of tonight, Rachel, as you said when talking with Taylor, was very, very interesting. And I think these drivers are going to go even harder here for this race. And we'll see exactly what these roof track cars can do. You spoke earlier before we went to break about how the times just continue to improve throughout the night. These drivers will be going faster here at Brands Hatch, which means the racing will be a lot faster and a lot more opportunities for drivers to get side by side and get in those hard-fought battles up at the front of the field.
Expecting nothing less as Taylor, yes, I know your name. What's your prediction for tonight?
Well, Will Waldron has definitely had the car to beat so far this season. I think he is going to be the one to absolutely put on a great show with a win. But keep an eye on some of those midfield drivers. Donald Binkley, Nick Paglia, a returning driver who's been in the series for a couple of times. He's making a good start for so far this season, starting inside the top 15. Antonio Da Silva, also another strong competitor. Didn't have the best qualifying attempt tonight so far, but watch him. Let's see what he can do as he works his way up through the field here for the next 22 laps or 30 minutes.
I can't wait to see that as the pace car will pull off here from Sterling Bend. We'll go through Clearways into Clark, where the pace car will depart for tonight's race. And we will have 38 screaming roof track cars ready to do battle here at Brands Hatch. Battle for Kent is only just warming up tonight as the PCA brings its tour to England. Let's see what the sport class can bring us tonight. If it's anything like the last one, it's going to be unmissable. Waldron leads that field alongside John Martin as the green flag will fly, and we're racing again for round 2 of tonight's events.
Field working their way up down the Brabham Straight into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Couple of cars making contact as they enter there. They're going 3 wide actually towards the back half of the field, straighten themselves right back up as they head down Pilgrim Rise over to Druids for the first time. Couple of cars sending it really deep into that corner there, Rachel.
They are, but I'm seeing amazing news here that no one donked it in Paddock Hill, and the entire field just cleared Druids for the first time. 38 cars, perfectly clean. Martin and Waldron have made a bit of a gap here. It's a big mistake by Will Waldron. He gets on the inside curb and he just loses grip. He has to back off the throttle there to maintain. That is huge. He's given the lead up there to about 8-9 cars as he tries to recoup his machine here. Waldron has dropped all the way back to about 8th place as John Martin inherits that lead alongside Gerlach and Kelly, Brodigan, Sampson, Crummell. Well, that just changed everything.
Yeah, and Rachel, that was probably the worst spot to make a mistake like that. You get the long run down towards Pilgrim's Drop, and you need the momentum going through that corner, and all momentum was lost for that driver's car. That's a problem through the grass early in the race. Won last week, but he's going to have to battle really hard to get his way back up towards the front of the field.
So true, he really will, as we have just changed this entire dynamic in a completely different way tonight. But Will Waldron is not out of this thing. He has a good chance left still in this. He's going to be down in about P10, which is significant for him. That's going to be a bit of a climb. However, we know he's fast. Nope. I'm looking the wrong driver, actually. That's kind of hilarious. He's in P6, so I do apologize for giving anybody a heart attack there. He's got a chance here. He's got to do it quickly, though, before this field spreads out, or he'll be in some real trouble. And we'll see how far they go forwards, because John Martin leading the way through Sterling here, lap number 2. Gerlach, Kelly, Sampson, Krummel, Waldron, Lung, Chapman, Kenny. It's definitely heating up already.
Certainly is, Rachel, right now as they're heading down towards Pilgrim Drop here on this back straightaway after coming out of Surtees right now. Will Waldron currently sits in that 6th spot as they come up to Hawthorne Bend, trying to see if he can find his way around Curtis Krummel for that 5th spot. Meanwhile, back up towards the front of the field, it is Oregon Gerlach and John Martin, your top 2 right now. Martin with about an 0.8 of a second lead as they came out of Westfield Bend, heading over into Dingodale Corner and continuing on their way. This is going to be an exciting battle because this is the chance for these 2 drivers, if they're able to play it right and try to keep away from Will Waldron, a great opportunity for them to get some good finishes and good points.
Very much, as yeah, these guys are pushing it here. Waldron already trying to make some moves back towards this thing. As just behind them, we're going to have a battle here between, just ahead there, Chapman is Lung and Kenny. Side by side there through Paddock Hill. Oh, door to door there coming up now. Pilgrim's Rise towards Druids. No, make it work. Single filing out now, dropping down towards Hill. Tight race. Oh, bit of a wobble there, just ahead by Ben Lung. But he won't give up time. He holds the speed.
He certainly does, but this might allow Dean Chapman and Daniel Florian, as they come out of Surtees, a chance to see if they can mix them up inside the top 10. They can utilize the slipstream down the towards Pilgrim Drop before they head into Hawthorne. Here comes Florian looking to the inside of Chapman. Can't quite seem to make it work that time as they come through Hawthorne Bend out of there, heading down the Derek Minter Straight before they get to the Westfield Bend.
Going for what they can in this, so they're going to make the time they can. Martin, not making as much time as he could do with. Gerlach holding him honest here. Still under a second here, time split between them. Kelly as well, staying with this group as Taylor. It's been a very different start, but it's starting to become a little bit more dramatic as time goes on. Much less on track incidents, I should say. But a lot more little mistakes giving up time.
And that's one of the things some of these drivers need to try to showcase is a little bit of patience. We see all the mistakes happening. Shoot, we saw one of the fastest drivers, Will Waldron, make a very crazy mistake as we have an incident right there heading to Paddock Hill. One car makes contact as multiple cars are trying to avoid sliding through. A couple of cars will get through it no problem, but unfortunately Daniel Florian, David Palmer, and it looks like a couple of more will not be able to make it through Paddock Hill Bend as it has claimed several victims.
Yeah, it really has. One of those being Dean Chapman, unfortunately for him, as we have a couple of other guys caught up in that incident tonight. How's Waldron recovering from earlier on? He is currently still P6. He has not gained back a lot yet, but he's got Sampson and Krummel right ahead of him. This could be one of our evolving battles here, Taylor. This could be the time he finds some room. It's a huge run. Where the hell did that come from? From Curtis Krummel. Like a missile from a cannon there is, going to be contact as he just rides the nose off there of Waldron. I'm not sure what Krummel's doing, but yes, the fairgrounds that way.
Can't really say why that's the situation right there, but we'll have to keep an eye and see if Will Waldron will keep that in the back of his mind.
Yeah, very much so, as it's going to be one of those tricky positions for racing, really, to find some opportunity. As we see Waldron making that move back past him now. I know momentum is something you want to keep hold of, but that was an interesting use of said momentum. But Waldron makes his way back past him. Sampson next on the radar for that. There's a gap for our leader, up to 1.2 seconds now. John Martin opening the room here to Gerlach. Ricky, the top 3 really are running very well here, but they've got some big battles further back.
Yeah, deeper in the field is where these drivers are really going to start to kind of close up those gaps and not give as much leeway. Those drivers are scratching and clawing for the highest spot they can possibly get. And we saw in the first challenge race, Rachel, that the battles towards the middle to back half of the field were a lot more fierce 5 to 6 car battles rather than just 1 to 2 car battles. So I think the field down towards the middle portion is a lot of guys that are around the exact same speed, a lot of drivers that have that respect for each other and have the same talent level and speed level, really, not even talent level, that these drivers can continue to race side by side with each other. Of course, it takes a lot of talent to do that, but those drivers really battle hard for those positions to try and make their way inside the top 10.
It is indeed, Val. Asiano has just gone off a little bit further back, but they're recovering here. They're already up about 4 spots from where they started. They're hoping to recover a bit more here. Our leader's beginning to look at the whole lapping shenanigans as he's getting closer towards Carl Boccieri, just ahead of him there. Martin, Gerlach, Kelly coming through with a good run here. Samson's with them still, Walton just behind that group, so that they're still within touching distance of each other here, so very much all the top 5 have an opportunity in this race depending on what happens, because last time by, Taylor, we saw some really close calls for your race leader with that traffic. Are we going to see maybe that have an effect on our race running order today?
He certainly is right now as John Martin is catching up to the back bumper of Carlo Boccieri as they work their way towards the back half of the course. A little bit of smoke from a couple of cars who are having some trouble, but I got to tell you what, one driver who had a big save was Gregory Sampson as they were coming towards Surtees. His car got a little bit loose, was able to gather it back up and continue on his way, so got to be careful about watching your track exit, because even though that grassy little bit of curbing might seem okay to hit, it really is not your friend, and you could easily loop it around.
You could indeed. Well, speaking of last race, time to have a chat to some of the drivers from it. Our top 3 are here. First up, Glenn Dennis. After misery at Long Beach, you come home with the win today in a stonking fashion. How do you feel today?
I feel fantastic. Yeah, thanks for having me. Actually, really glad to be back on the podium and talking to you guys. Absolutely love this track and had a great day.
I got the impression that this might be something of a specialist track for you. That car looked like it was on rails. Just describe driving Brands Hatch for us as quickly as you can.
It's a really, really unique track. It's got a great rhythm and timing to it. Pays off to practice a lot here because there's a lot of muscle memory and timing. And so, the driver community, we all, as we practice together, we talked a lot about that. Just the rhythm and the timing of the track, and it's a short track, but it's really fast, and there's just a ton of grip out there. It's just a lot of fun in this car.
Certainly a great description of it. And of course, today's race was a bit of a redemption from last week.
Yeah, it feels like it. I took that to heart, what happened last week, and sort of reflected on what I could have done differently to maybe get a better outcome, and have kept that in the front of the mind today. And it was pretty hairy around some lap traffic today, but luckily luck sort of showed its face again and came my way, and just happy with the outcome.
Awesome to hear. Well, thank you very much. And Glenn, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank?
Yeah, so again, I really want to thank PCA, the Sim Racing League, all of our moderators and our EDE coaches, and the different zone groups that set everything up. Of course, our sponsors and Podium Esports. What you guys do. You guys make it so much fun. Just really glad to be here and be part of this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Glenn. Next up, we're going to have a chance to chat to Matt Dialosa, who came home today in second place, and Taylor standing by.
Here with Matt Dialosa coming home in a second place finish here today. Matt, a great performance for you. How were the conditions for you out on track?
The track conditions were great, but there was a lot of traffic.
Explain to some of our listeners here who are watching the race and seeing that on the action, how difficult was it negotiating that lap traffic here then at a track that can be very technical when it comes to making sure you hit your marks on each corner?
Yeah, well, it's hard to weave through. We got different people at different paces picking different lines, and sometimes it's no big deal if you're chasing somebody and you both pass somebody together and the battle's still on, but other times stress increases because the guy ahead of you might get around and you're stuck and that gap starts to grow, so it's pretty tricky.
Well, before we let you go, Matt, is there anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Absolutely, my wife, for sure. She's super supportive of my habit here, and I love her to death.
Gotta make sure we thank the wife for that. So that is Matt Dialosa coming home second place in the challenge class, as Ricky has caught up with our final step of the podium, Mr. Stephen Kemp.
Guys, how you doing?
Good, Stephen. How about yourself? And a great performance out there, finishing on the third step of the podium here tonight for you. Finished third last week and then third again this week. You thinking maybe third next week as well?
I don't know. I'd like to get first or second, but boy, Glenn was super fast. And I raced with Mac before. It was good to see him back. I know he's super fast as well. Once we got mixed up with lap traffic, I was all I could do to just keep it clean and make it through the race. That was really intense. So yeah, better than third would be great, but I'm really happy with third place today.
Yeah, and the lap traffic, a lot of drivers talked about that in their interviews, about how much of a hassle it was to kind of get through the lap traffic. I mean, what makes this track so much different to other courses when trying to work your way through lap traffic?
Well, all the lap traffic was working hard to work with us and get out of the way. So, everybody was trying, but, through a lot of it, there's just one line. And so it's difficult to know where to place your car if you're trying to get past. There's a couple places which are obvious, but I think it's just difficult for the car being passed to put their car in a place that, doesn't get in the way. It's a narrow track, and sight lines are not great and off camber, so it's just hard to be passed on this track, I think.
For sure, and a great job, Stephen. And is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's performance?
Hey, I'd like to thank somebody I forgot last week. I'd like to thank Max Pappas. He kind of got me going in this. Him and his team at Max Sim provided my sim rig, so I appreciate that. They kind of got me going in this, and also some kind of talk of the mental game of doing racing. So anyway, I just want to thank Max for getting me going at this sport.
Yeah, and a great job tonight. That was your third place finisher, Stephen Kemp, as he brought it home on the third step of the podium for the challenge class.
Things busy out on track, of course, here at Brands Hatch in your sport races. We got some great action racing through the field. David Palmer, looking at him in a moment, just racing alongside here with Daniel Florian. Behind them, we've got Ronald Cahill. We've got Jeff Williams, John Crook, Ryan McGee. There's a huge amount of cars here. Antonio De Silva, Jason Brodigan. Thomas Hardy just looped here behind them, but huge knot of cars here towards the back end of our top 20. Taylor, this is crazy.
It certainly is, Rachel. Watching this field of cars working their way through, I mean, you have the battle between John Crook, Ryan McGee, Antonio De Silva, Jason Brodigan. I mean, all these four drivers here around the top 20 are putting on a great show as they're working down through the back half of the course right now. Quick update, though, on Will Waldron. He had a major incident coming out of the final corner. Got the car a little bit loose trying to get around a couple of competitors. Was able to get it back under control. Back in sixth position, so I didn't lose too much ground, just lost a lot of time on his competitors, as now Ben Luang is up in the fifth spot.
Certainly is, folks. And as we cross the halfway point of tonight's sport race, it's time to bring you the Midway Race Report, brought to you by Pirelli. Pirelli was founded in Milan in 1872 and is a global brand known for its cutting-edge technology, high-end production excellence, and passion for innovation that draws heavily on its Italian roots. Pirelli is among the world's major producers of tyres and is an OEM supplier to Porsche. Find out more about Pirelli at www.pirelli.com. And with that in mind, let's take a look at how our field is running tonight. John Martin, out front here, unchallenged right now, 1.7 ahead of the next car, Gerlach. 22 machine up from the upper Canada region of Zone 1. Inherited the lead early on, but is kicking it here. P2, Ogren Gerlach from the Rally Sport region of Zone 4. Gerlach is up position as well so far tonight, and he is making the most of things. Third place is going to be Will Kelly, the 31 machine from the Maverick region of Texas. Zone number 5 is putting on a stormer here, up a spot as well. And he is taking advantage here. He's holding off some hard charges, though, like the cars behind him. Ben Lung, P4, up 5 positions here from 9th. Ben from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1. The 290 machine pushing hard here, trying to gain more positions in tonight's race. And just behind that, it's Gregory Sampson, the 91 from the Maverick region as well. Another Texan in what is Texas race, it seems, in the PCA. Zone 5 there. Behind them, we have Will Waldron. He gained a spot back. He had looped the car, but he's back running again and keeping pace. Maybe running a little bit hard. The Hudson Champlain region driver from Zone 1. putting on a great show. 7th is Donald Blinkley, and he is from the Music State region of Zone 3, putting on some great work tonight, up 4 positions. Robert Walton behind there, P8 in the 4 car, another Texan from the Maverick region. 9th is Keith Morgan, the 700 car from the Central Indiana region of Zone 4. Keith Morgan is pushing here up 9 positions as well from 19th. 10th place is going to be Nick Paglia, the 26 car, Northern region of Zone number 10.
In the 11th spot, just outside of the top 10, going to be the 907 of Will Munglia from the Peach State region of Zone 3. 12th spot, going to be the number 72 of David D. Palmer, just on the back bumper of that machine. Possibly a battle ensuing here soon for the 11th spot from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1. The 13th spot, going to be the 666 of Ryan Rupplos from the region of Zone 1. The 15th position, it's going to be Daniel in the 911 machine from the Carlos region of Zone 3. I apologize, it was the 14th spot. The 15th spot, going to be Ronald from the Northeast region of Zone 1 in car number 16 as he works his way down the hill off of turn 1. 16th spot, going to be Jeff D. Williams as he is part of that battle from the Rocky Mountain region. The 217 machine of the Zone 9 in the 16th spot. 17th spot, going to be just behind him there in the 944, Ryan McGee from the North Sturd region of Zone 10. 18th spot, going to be Jason in the number 14 machine from the Maverick region of Zone 5, following closely behind that grouping, but a little bit of rear end damage might keep him out of it. The 19th spot, Antonio Da Silva from the Metropolitan New York region of Zone 1. Some front-end damage there, possibly a little lineup matching scuff mark for those two machines. Back to the 20th spot, it's going to be John Crook from the Potomac region of Zone 2 in the 28 machine Taylor.
21st will be David Snelling from the Northeast region as he's working his way up through the field. Zone 1, he's in a hot battle right here. Is 22nd is Bob Moore from the Northeast region, Zone 1, as those two will do battle to see if they can work up through the field. 23rd will be Thomas Doherty right there as he works in that 23rd spot, having a quiet night in that number 59 car as he works up, trying to catch up to the two in front. 24th goes to Jason Baum from the Western Michigan region, Zone 4. Car 03 has had a rough night, but looking to continue on to try to post a better finish as the time ticks down. 25th is Adam Durling from the Metropolitan New York region. Car 248 has a clean car, is going to keep it going as we look at the backside of the car, working his way through the Bradham Straight. As we watch on 26 is James Bernard from the Alaska region. All the way up here from Alaska to the UK, seeing if he can get a good finish here as he works down, heading into Paddock Hill Bend. 27th, right behind him, is James Legault from the Central Indiana region, having a good run as he continues to try to progress his way up through the field in car 27. 28th spot is Carol Davis from the First Settlers region, Zone 2. Quiet driver as they away Surtees. In the 29th position, Sebastiano Ballestieri from issues the driver, but try to continue that happened go at your top 30. Tom Crane, who is just about a little bit further back, he's also one lap down from the Mardi Gras region.
31st tonight is gonna be Curtis Crummell there, the 41 machine from the Carolinas region, Zone 3. Behind him, Dean Chapman in 32nd. He's unfortunately had some incidents today. North New Jersey region, Zone 1 driver, the 605. And the last car running tonight on your field, Carl Bottieri, the 18 machine from Metropolitan New York region of Zone number 1. Well, folks, that has been your Midway race break for the sport class tonight. It's brought to you, of course, by Pirelli. Further ado, there's been a lot of crazy action happening in this one so far. We've had an incredibly busy night, and it's almost too much to keep up with here, but as you know, Martin's out front. He's opened that gap to 4 seconds. Will Kelly, second place. He's got a good 4-second gap on Malcolm Gerlach, as Kelly passed Gerlach earlier on. Ben Lung is in 4th. He's not gained yet, but he's working on that now. Will Waldron's passed Sampson. He's up to 5th place now, so it's a recovery drive for him. We do have a penalty on the board. Keith Morgan got a black flag for an incident earlier on. And running through our field, Taylor, I'm seeing some good action a little bit further back as it's been this group towards the bottom of our top 20 who's been absolutely turning on the coal.
They certainly have been, Rachel. Watching on as David Snelling, Thomas Doherty, Bob Moore, Jason Baum, and then throw in a little bit. Nope, actually, Jason Baum is the last driver in this group of cars. So about 20th on back is where that battle is really heating up as we see Jason Baum trying to find his way around Bob Moore as he takes a peek to the inside. Can't quite seem to make it work just yet, as they work their way through the final set of corners right here before they head down the Brabham Straight. A great battle here outside the top 20, but also keep an eye on that Will Waldron, Ben Lewang battle as well, as those two are battling for that 4th position right now.
Yeah, they very much are, and we'll have to see what Waldron could do. Put it on pole, so we know he's fast. Ricky, do you think he can pass Lunke? It looks to be really quick too.
Yeah, I believe it's going to turn out to be a very good battle. Of course, we've seen Will have to work his way up through the field several times now after a couple of incidents, most notably the one on lap 1, working his way to the back half of the course. But a very fast machine indeed for Will Waldron, and I think that it will be a good battle here, and he may be able to get by him, but not easily whatsoever, as the pass is going to start here on the front straightaway, Rachel.
He's going to try what he can do into Paddock Hill Bend here. They could have the inside line. It will make it ahead of him as they turn in, but it's not the optimal location to really turn into that corner, so he may have lost some speed, but he'll hold it on Pilgrim's Rise and secures it into Druids. Nicely done, as we see Will Waldron climb back up to 4th place here. It's going to be 20 seconds back from your leaders, Taylor. I don't think he's going to look at that, but everything matters here.
Every point will matter for Will Waldron, and it could have been, even though he could have possibly won this race, if we get closer to the championship and he is in the championship fight with John Morton and Oregon Gerlap, this race here could have been that deciding factor of him continuing to battle and get this 4th or 3rd place finish here tonight that could help him possibly win a championship if he were to keep that in mind later on down the road. So every point matters, every position matters, and that is why he is still fighting even with 6 minutes to go.
It's very true indeed, as they're going to go for what they can. Everything matters in the long run when you're looking at a championship, and, well, he's going for exactly that. This may be looking like John Martin's day, but Will Waldron still needs to make sure he's in the battle, more importantly. Our field so far has been shaken up a bit, but we're not seeing as much passing drama as we saw in the last run. We have a grand total of 5 minutes left, and there's still 22 cars in the lead lap, so the whole field generally faster here. Ricky, it's not quite as crazy as last time by, but there's still a lot of separation, but there's some good battles towards that top 20 position.
Yeah, and it seems like the difference between the sport class and the challenge class here tonight at Branch Hatch has been the front of the field has been a lot more racy than what we saw in the challenge class. You just said that a couple seconds ago, but you know, the class is getting very racy up towards the front of the field, and these drivers, of course, starting to think about points implications as just a few races into PCA competition here this season. And these drivers giving it everything they have. We saw that in the challenge class, of course, but especially in this class, the drivers up towards the front, a lot closer in the competition packed, and these drivers showing their skill levels here by all the types of passing that we've been seeing.
Very much what we're seeing on track as Bob Moore and co towards the bottom end here, really putting on the heat around Jason Baum, Florian, Doherty, Snelling. An absolute knot of traffic, and this is our biggest battling we're seeing here. These guys are holding nothing back, and this may be for some smaller points, but they still care about every single point on the table here as they're all alone for each other. Super close to the corner there. I think that was possibly Jason Baum. It was, in fact, coming and looking towards Bob Moore. Ricky, you think this was top 5?
Yeah, and these drivers really pushing there, Rachel. As you can see now, Brom in another close battle there as they're side by side working their way through the back half of the course. That's a really tough spot to be side by side. Just barely clears him as they work their way into continues to now push that number 03 machine back to the 22nd spot as soon as timing will reset. But these drivers getting very close through the back half of the field. These very fast, winding corners, possibly even just a slight tap of the brakes if you over pursue that corner could be calamity for you and the driver in front of you. So a great job that these drivers are doing with the 3, 4, and 5 car battles to stay off of each other.
Totally right. As the time ticks away, 3 minutes. The timer waits for no man or race car driver, and some news coming through. I think we're seeing something developing here, guys. Oh, bit of incident there back with that pack we were watching a moment ago, but Kelly here and Waldron, this is still on top.
Yeah, this is Oregon Gerlach in the second spot as Will Kelly is in hot pursuit as they come through Paddock Hill Bends now, heading towards this section of the course right here. Gerlach is trying to see if he can capitalize on what we saw with Will Waldron early on as you're on board with Will Kelly as they come up through Surtees. A great opportunity to utilize the lap traffic. He's going to try to take it to the inside. Close contact. Spins him around right there. That's not what's supposed to happen as both of them make contact to the arm code barrier. That is what Will Waldron needed. Keep an eye on that to see if he's able to gain the spots. He tried to avoid those two as they're still trying to get themselves straightened out as now Waldron moves up to third and it will easily probably overtake Kelly with that damage.
Oh, this is massive. Yeah, Will Waldron's brought himself right back into the battle here. This is a podium. He never thought he'd recover that after losing those positions early on and spinning. But Will Waldron now looking to make a pass here on Will Kelly. He'll take that position incredibly easily as he looks at the inside here into the bottom end of our circuit down for Westfield. Ben gets it through there, but that was a huge race changer for those two. Honestly, Ricky, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and that's just two drivers who were battling hard, fighting for the same piece of track. Of course, the lap car out on the opposite side of the rumble strips, and as those two drivers tried to go side by side, not quite enough track for those drivers to compete side by side like that, and contact was made and both drivers ended up going around. But very fortunately for Will Waldron, that will put him on the podium now. So a very good thing for Tap and for him, but for the other two drivers, unfortunate happiness here at the end of the race with just under 1 minute to go.
Seems the way it's going to be, but John Martin, second place. Yeah, second place. That's insane. From so far back now, second place for Waldron secured. He's 18 seconds back from your leader. John Martin, can you take a breath here, Taylor? Is this where you sit back and relax a little bit? You've got a lap left after this one. I think he'll cross the line here.
For John Martin?
This would be white flag for John Martin this time by. Is this where you could take the foot off a little bit?
If I were John Martin, yeah, I would. I mean, you have a 18-second gap over Will Waldron, your biggest competitor pretty much all race long. And you don't want to make a mistake, because really that's what kind of happened with Gerlach and Kelly. They were trying to get around lap traffic, and that's when the contact happened, when they decided to take it 3 wide. So just take your time. You just have to do this one lap here. I mean, I really even really worry about, right there, see? The contact right as they head into Paddock Hill Bend. That's something that Martin did not need to have happen, but thankfully he was able to get away this time unscathed for the most part. Maybe a little damage to the nose of that rough.
It would be ironic if somehow something happened and Waldron came back to win after everything that he'd been through today. Insane. Another black flag up on our scoring screen here. Thomas Doherty got a black flag for an incident in this one too. But it's going to be about John Martin here. Can he bring this thing home? One last time down towards Pilgrim's Drop and towards the end of the lap. He's coming up on those guys fighting for the bottom end of the top 20. And believe me, they are still going for this thing. We've got Baum, Moore and Brodigan just ahead of your leader here, and they are absolutely stomping for it. They will get one more lap, I think, after your leader crosses, but a busy, crazy lap for the bottom end of the field here, as they've had a wonderful day out, I think. Martin comes through towards Sterling for the last time here. Or is it? I'm looking at my timing slightly sideways here, guys. Are we actually ending on this lap, or we are?
Yes, this is the last lap.
Yes. Just confirming that as checkered flag is out. On to the Brabham Straight one last time. John Martin, second on the grid, brings it home in first. Huge run from him as Will Waldron will finally come out of Clark. It wasn't the pole position he started with, but second place after his race today, this will do. Ben Long will bring it home in P3. Ogren Gerlap in 4th, with Will Kelly coming home finally in 5th place for him. Well, guys, that was a really busy one today. A little different in terms of the drama we had to the first race, the challenge class, but sport didn't disappoint.
Not at all, Rachel. And, you know, a great race by those drivers as people still finishing out their race here further back in the field. But some calamity there towards the end of the race, and Gerlap ended up getting back going, as you saw, inside the top 5. But that just goes to show how hard these drivers are racing each other. We don't quite get to see that type of action on the smaller, more technical courses like Long Beach last week. But this week is definitely no shortage of action out here at Brands Hatch.
Agree with you 100%. Well, folks, with that and our field coming across the line here, let's go to your post-race results. Coming home with a win, of course, John Martin put it in a great position here today. Second place, Will Waldron with a huge recovery drive. Ben Lung in 3rd place, with Ogren Gerlap in 4th, Will Kelly in 5th, Gregory Sampson, Will Munglia, Nick Paglia, Donald Blinkley, and Ryan Rapalas in 10th. 11th place, Ryan McGee, Ronald Cahill, Jeff D. Williams, John Crook, and Jason Brodigan in 15th. The rest of those positions on your screen, as we will be back in a few moments' time to bring you the club class tonight and our 3rd race. Don't go anywhere.
Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Welcome back, folks, to the PCA, and of course we're on round 3 of tonight's races, the Club Class. Of course, Michelin is the presenting partner for the Club Class in 2021, as well as the official tyre of IMSA. They also manufacture and sell tyres for every type of vehicle, including aircraft, automobiles, bicycles, dump trucks, farm equipment, heavy-duty vehicles, motorcycles, everything. Michelin also offers a full range of innovative services and solutions that help make mobility safer, more efficient, and more environmentally friendly. Find out more about Michelin at www.michelinman.com. Well, guys, we are literally hitting our grid right now because this time has been a very busy one. Jonathan Waltman leads us off today from zone number 8 in first on the grid. Second place, zone 4 is James Hayosh. Third place, zone number 2 is Robert Rose. Fourth place, the Sanaka Auctioneers. Zone number 5 is John Paul Leno. Fifth place, zone 13 is Colin Schmitz. With sixth place, zone number 9 is Ryan Kornowski. Seventh place, zone number 3 is Sean Murphy. Eighth place, zone number 6 is Dean Chen. Ninth, Julian Velez of zone 1 and his zone mate in zone 1. 10th place, Jeremy Mazriello. 11th place will be zone number 2 is Kevin Douglas. 12th place, zone number 3 is Travis Brody. 13th, zone number 1 is Robert Lacroix. 14th, zone number 12 is Robert D. Masters. 15th, zone 12 is Dante Tornello. The rest of those positions on your screen. Rachel Whiteford, Taylor Burris, and Ricky Springer back with you as always. And we have Ryan on the cameras with those Dougie Beard cameras, giving us those gorgeous shots of Brands Hatch GP that we are at today. This has been a phenomenal night of stonking racing all night, guys. We're about to do a green flag. We'll talk about it in a moment once we get that flag, because we are off, ready to rock, roll, rumble, and race. Yeah. That's a word that's appropriate.
I agree with that.
Cars. Yeah. Pace cars off, coming through Brabham Straight here. You ready to kick this thing into high gear, or at least a high gear higher than what they're currently pacing in. Green flag flies. Paddock Hill just ahead of us now. 3 wide for second place. It's YOLO time into Paddock Hill. And the pace is going. That was the 497 of Colin Schmitz, who was like, I don't give a Schmitz. We're going for this thing.
Hashtag send it now as you're on board with Jean-Paul Leno from the Mardi Gras region, as he is in a heated battle with several cars around him as they make the run up to Surtees for the first time. But Rachel, a lot of craziness happening on that opening lap. Several cars actually a little bit further back, taking a 3, even 4 wide contact happening actually. No cars though sent around as they are able to keep it on the straight and narrow and finally get a little bit of single file as they head down to Pilgrim Drop.
Absolutely, that 38 car field going for it hot and heavy tonight in this race as we get our third one of the night underway. This one is already showing it's got some real temperature to it compared to the last two. They are not pulling the punches in the Club Class tonight, brought to you by Pirelli, of course. Waltman out front with barely said a word about him. He is going. Michelin, of course, not Pirelli. That was the last race. Sport is Michelin for your Club Class. Robert Rose in third place here with Leno in fourth, Schmitz in fifth. Actually, no, he's in fourth place right now. He jumped a couple of positions there from that insane start.
Yeah, and what an amazing start. Those drivers really sending it off into the corner. You saw it 3 wide there, and these cars are a little bit more nimble, Rachel. Of course, we've switched over to our more sporty kind of racing GT cars instead of the more stock roof track that we were running in the previous 2 classes, and the Club Class running the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car here at Brands Hatch. Of course, what they run every week in PCA competition. This is more, I guess you could say, a race type car. It's not necessarily the complete stock inside. This has more racing updates to it, but still on the inside, a basic street version of the Porsche 911 that we all love. And these drivers getting the nimbleness of those Porsche GT3 cars and really working them around Brands Hatch and shown there on the restart with 3 wide.
Yeah, no punches pulled at all. A crazy, crazy start to this one tonight as we are going for it in this club class event. Traffic is heavy as everyone's looking for positioning here. Front is evened out and it's really kind of hot and heavy for second, third, fourth back. Second place, a little bit of breathing room. Looks like we've got the likes of Murphy and Leno side by side. Koinowski just behind them with Chen, Velez, Mazriello, Lacroix, Brody, Douglas, Masters. There's no end to this train of cars. And the gaps don't exist here.
No, they certainly don't, Rachel. There is not any room for error. Everywhere you look, there's a battle for position, as you see on board with James Hayosh, who is in a hot battle right here for the 4th position as he's trying to hold off Sean Murphy, Jean-Paul Leno, Dean Chen, and Ryan Krasneski in a hot battle right here for that 6th position. As you see, Chen trying to get to the inside of that number 32. He's right there. He has the opening. Will it stick? It will complete the pass. Move. We see Dean Chen up into that 7th position after a great pass in that 187.
Definitely did, and it's moving through this thing so quickly at the moment. We've had a great run to this. Traffic is settling down now, so it could be a good chance to some of our race drivers from the last round here, the sport class. We're going to get a chance to chat to John Martin very, very shortly. But now, John, a crazy race for you earlier on, as we had a busy time with insanely busy track here, at a small track, not a lot of room for you. Just how was it running here and trying to stay out front?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's such a good track, and it was very satisfying to keep the trophy in the Commonwealth, I guess. But yes, it's a tough track to pass on. As soon as we caught the lapped traffic, I mean, I screwed up 2 or 3 times. I have a string of apologies I have to make now to some of the other chaps on the lap behind. But it was a really fun race, and congratulations to Will and Ben, who were really quick as well. Both Wills actually, Waldron and Will Kelly. They're both bloody quick.
Yeah, they certainly are, of course, and a great run for you today, putting this thing into some great positioning for points. How are you feeling with the championship at large?
I don't know. I had a bit of a screw up on the final lap of the first race, so I think I'm behind. But yeah, I feel good. I think we get 1 drop race this series, so I think I have a shot at sort of the top 3 or 4 if I can continue to place like this.
Well, we look forward to seeing exactly that. So anybody like to give a shout out to or thank?
Yeah, well, number one, thanks to you guys. It's fun doing this every week, and thanks to both Wills and to Ben and Organ, the guys the front runners of the race. It was a really fun race, and everybody was really quick this week.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, John Marty, coming on to do the win at Brands Hatch. Next up, we've got a chance for Ricky Springer to talk to Will Waldron.
And Will Waldron now here with me. A really tough day out here today, Will. You started up front, you ended up having some issues, and then back-to-back more issues, but at the end of the day, you end up on the 2nd step of the podium. Take us through the craziness that was your race today.
Yeah, that was a wild one. Yeah, real heartbreaker coming through there. I just lost the back end on lap 1. You move, and then recovered. Surprised I only lost I think I was back to like 6th place, something like that. Just picking my way through the field, trying to settle things down. It's pretty tough to pass here. And yeah, I was just reviewing that move. I came up on Greg Sampson, and looked like I thought I was going straight, but apparently my car was kind of drifting off a bit, and I got a 0x. We just touched. and I paid the penalty for that and had to pick up the pieces again and move on. And just kept ticking off the laps. Thankfully, my car wasn't damaged too badly, and I could get it done. And thanks to the misfortune of others and just a little bit of patience there, I came back with the second step. So pretty good. But congrats to John. You drove a great race.
Yeah, for sure, and a phenomenal job by you, Will. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I apologize, but you've done great all this season. What are you going to carry momentum-wise into next week? Of course, some positives you can take from Brands Hatch for sure, right?
Yeah, I made some adjustments on my equipment, and that's working a little better for me now. And yeah, it just gives you a bit of confidence. The past few weeks, I haven't really had to. It's hard work off the front, but I haven't had to battle super hard with people. So that's good to work on your race skills. So, this won't rob me of too much confidence.
Yeah, and a great job to continue your well-placed season here, Will. And finally, is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's finish?
Yeah, sure. PCA, absolutely appreciate all they do and monitoring all the Discord and all that stuff. It's a chore. Yeah. Great thanks to those guys. Appreciate everything they do. I'm happy to be there. Thanks to you guys too.
Yep, and thank you. And that was Will Waldron. The second place finisher of the sport class is now Taylor Burris with Ben Lung, the third place finisher.
Here with Ben Luong coming home in a third place. Ben, you had a very exciting race and running inside the top 6 until those final couple of laps where second and third place of Gerlap and the rest of the field had that incident on the final lap, but you were able to sneak off with a third place. Your thoughts on the interesting situation that arose before you?
Well, I was just trying my best to drive a consistent race. And then I guess I didn't expect what happened to P2 and 3 in the last couple of laps. One day, I guess, got into an incident together, and then Will and I were able to sneak by. So I think we got very lucky there. But that's racing, I guess.
What do you think is so difficult about handling this track here at Brands Hatch that's different from any circuit that you've competed on so far this season?
I think the main thing is the blind corners and the elevation change. That's very different from what we had last week in Long Beach when everything was flat. So, turn 2 and turn 1 in this track is very, very challenging.
Well, Ben, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
I want to thank my wife and my kids for putting up with all the time I've spent on the sim, and also Hagerty for putting on, allowing us to do this for fun.
That is Ben Luang coming home in third place here tonight in, of course, the sports class as we get ready to go for the next race here, and the club class is still battling on here, Rachel.
Very much are, of course, as we come back to your live action. Couple of cars hitting pit road, but Jonathan Watman running clear. It's him. No, Colin Schmitz, pit road. Oh, black flag for jumping the start. So we had a bit of a controversial start, but Colin Schmitz has been black flagged for that jump for third place. So unfortunate for him, stop and go penalty. He's back out now, but that's a lot of positions he's hemorrhaged.
Yeah, and a penalty like that can sure put you back in a hurry, and especially at a track like Brands Hatch here, such a relatively long course, talking in a relative term, of course, but a very quick track as well. So just about a minute and 24 seconds is what we're seeing in the roof track as my timing and scoring gets refreshed here. Yeah, about a minute and 27 seconds here for the Porsche GT3 Cup cars. So you think just a few seconds on pit road could mean a half a lap or even a full lap down, Rachel. So huge implications if you have to drive down pit road.
Yeah, significant indeed. As the drivers keep themselves moving. Go eyes on Travis Brody here. He's running in the 020 right behind Colin Schmitz, now on track. So Brody has the new guy in his sights, and he's got Nelson and Holmes behind him who wanted this position too.
Certainly does, as you're on board with Travis Brody from the Palmetto region, trying to see if he can make up that needed time. It's going to be a tall order for him right now, as he is about 0.6 of a second back from Colin Schmidt, who just has served that penalty momentarily. But Schmidt is definitely going to be one to watch as well, as he has the pace, but he has a long way to go right now, and not a whole lot of time left on the clock, just past the 18 minutes left to go.
Certainly are. So time is playing forwards. It's a good, just over half the race left for them right now. So good amount of time, but we had a car go around just ahead of them there. I'll look at who that was. I think it might have been a lap car, so not a huge concern, but unfortunate for them nonetheless, as field will push through as this race just evolves. A little bit more sedate than we had in the last two. A little bit more predictable, I think, is probably more the word to use in this one. The drivers all behaving themselves, really controlling this car well. Of course, not the same car as we had in the last one. This being a 911 GT3 Cup car, so problems there for Klaus Nielsen as he went off the track. A little bit of contact with the driver of Brett Holmes there, but they'll keep it moving overall.
Yes.
My colleagues are dead in the booth next to me at the moment, as looking through what we've got here on board with Lacroix in 8th position, riding up behind Julian Velez. Behind them is Dante Turinello. 3-car battle here starting to evolve as they come through Clark.
Yeah, they're certainly putting on a good battle right here. Keep an eye on Michael Masters. He's in the catbird seat as well, where he could possibly make a good run as they head once again up to Paddock Hill Bend, heading down the hill once here. A couple of cars clearing over the curb, where we've seen cars actually, if they clip that curb, go spin themselves right out as they work their way through. Michael Masters having a quiet run here in the top 10, so let's see if he can gain a couple of spots as he's got Dante Tornello in front of them as they come through Surtees.
Big place to gain as if they try, but Surtees is not one of the boldest places to make a pass. It's supposed to set one up, not execute it, because it's too fast and you need to really worry about that run down Pilgrim's Drop. Of course, Taylor, in fact, they're going for it exactly there.
They certainly are. As you see the side-by-side battle right there between LaCroix and Julian Velez. Velez was able to take over that 7th spot. Here comes Robert LaCroix trying to see if he can hold off Dante Tornello as they work their way through. LaCroix from the Rensport region having a decent run of that number 64 as they work their way through towards Dingodale. As you see the Southern Coast Florida driver of Dante Tornello trying to see if he can poke his nose to the inside, but cannot make it work. He'll have to try again as they come up to the final set of corners.
And they will, for sure. It's going to be another opportunity for them to go, but speaking of opportunities, it's our opportunity to talk about our Midway race break. And tonight, of course, we've crossed the halfway point of tonight's club class race. It's time to bring you the Midway race report, brought to you by Michelin. Michelin is a presenting partner of the club class in 2021 and the official tyre of IMSA. They also manufacture and sell tyres for every type of vehicle, including airplanes, automobiles, bicycles, earth movers, farm equipment, heavy-duty trucks and motorcycles. Michelin also offers a full range of innovative services and solutions that help make mobility safer, more efficient and more environmentally friendly. Find more out about Michelin at www.michelinman.com. With that, let's take a run through our field today for Midway. Jonathan Waltman out front, the Santa Barbara region, California Zone 8 driver. Number 7 is out front from pole position where he started, and he's holding this one well tonight so far. In fact, he's 7.4 seconds clear of James Hayosh, who's in 2nd place in the 8. Something cathartic about the 7 leading the 8. Southeast Michigan region Zone 4 driver, the 8 car, pushing it hard. He started in 2nd place. The 987 of Jean-Paul Leno is in 3rd. Started in 4th place, he's at 1, and he's a couple of seconds back there, the Mardi Gras region driver, driving a very Mardi Gras coloured car. Sean Murphy, the 20, the Palmetto region of Zone 3, running in 4th place tonight. He's up 3 places from where he started in 7th. Robert Rose is in the 5th place, started in 3rd. The Shenandoah region, Zone 2, 443 car, trying to get what he can back from the race and a rougher start. The 187 of Dean Chen is in 6th place, started 8th, so he's up 2. the Canada West region, Zone 6 driver. Julian Velez is in the 7th place, started 9th. Northern New Jersey region, Zone 1 driver, trying to get what he can out of this and hold it forwards. Robert Lacroix is in the 8th place, the 64 machine from the Rennsport region of Zone 1, trying to get as much ground as he can. He's up 5 positions from where he started. 9th is Dante Tornello. He is currently up 6 positions from 15th on the grid. The Suncoast Florida region driver of Zone 12, putting that pedal to the metal. In 10th place, the 270 of Michael D. Masters, the Space Coast region of Florida in Zone 12 there. Number 260, trying to aim for the moon.
Kevin Douglas just outside of the top 10 in the Rennsport region of Zone 2 in the 810 machine, as just behind him, exactly about a second behind him, the number 6 car of Brett Holmes from the Las Vegas region of Zone 8. 13th spot going to belong to Jeremy in the number 25 machine from the North Country region of Zone 1, trying to work his way to the back bumper of Brett Holmes. 14th spot going to be Travis Brody from the Palmetto region of Zone 3 in the 020 machine. 15th spot going to be Jensen Bennett in the 911 machine, as he's from the Lincoln Trail region of Zone 13. 16th spot going to be Bruce Robinson in the 386 machine, the Northern Ohio region of Zone 4. Car looking very similar to our leader's machine of Jonathan Waltman. 17th spot going to belong to Colin Schmitza in the 497 machine from the Milwaukee region of Zone 13. A lot of damage on the left front of that machine. Trying to work his way inside the top 15, though, and very close to it. 17th spot going to be Michael McKinney, as he's going to be from the Kimberley region of Zone 5 in the number 527 machine, rocking the pink stripes, as he is as well trying to work his way in the top 15. Has a little while to go until he gets there. 18th spot going to be Georgie, as from the Metropolitan New York region of Zone 1. 19th spot going along to Jeff P. Smith from the Resno region of Zone 1 in the 34 machine, and involved in a close battle. These next 4 cars are, as now to the 20th spot, just behind him, Ken from the O'Hare-Dixon region of Zone 3, Taylor.
21st position is Klaus Nielsen from the Lone Star region, the Moden Motorsports driver, trying to see if he can break into the top 20 in the 04 Porsche. In 22nd, Michael Patterson from the Longhorn region, car 29 with that Plimpton Plow Moden Motorsports Porsche, also teammate at Jets as they work their way down the Providence Straight. In 23rd spot, you'll find Mario Gonzalez from the Hill Country region. A lot of Texans here in these past couple of 3 spots, as they are some of the strongest competitors in the field. 24th is Jeremy Mazriella from the North Country region up in Canada, as he's trying to see if he can work his way a little further up, break into the top 20. 25th position, Jake Steinbrink from the Ohio Valley region, Zone 4. Quiet night for him right now in car number 46. Let's see what he can do in the second half of tonight's race. 26th position is Chris Duffy, the Florida Citrus region driver, the rubber Duffy car out there on track as he tries to continue on, and had a little bit of a slide job through there, was able to gather it back up and continue on his way. 27th from the Reason Total region, Daniel Rubel is having a quiet night in that number 13, as the little bit of the Pink Pig style, not without all the cuts of meat on there, of course, as well, but continues on in 27th. 28th position, of course, is John Montgomery, the JRP Porsche from the Upper Canada region. A little bit of a tough night for him. Let's see if he can recover some way here to break on through the field. 29th position is Nicky Chan. Had a couple of issues early in the going, but is able to continue on. The Upper Canada region driver trying to get a couple of more spots before the end of today's race. Rounding out your top 30 is Patrick Gill from the Central Wisconsin region, the 111 driver, trying to see if he can get one more spot before the race is over.
31st tonight is Ryan Kornowski, the Rocky Mountain region's number 9, now 32 car of Kornowski. Has not had the race he hoped for tonight. He's gone back, but he's trying to fight his way forward still. Robert Cottrell behind him in the Intermountain region of Zone 9. 89 car of Cockle is where he actually started right now in 30 seconds, so he's just keeping pace and moving as forward as he can. Right now it's Paul Neto in the 104 from the Upper Canada region of Zone 1. Paul is unfortunately down 6 positions. Gary Rice behind him. 34th, the 2 car from the Peach State region of Zone 3. Had some incidents today trying to fly back. And that will be the last of our cars on your track tonight for the Club Class Race tonight. Brought to you, of course, by Michelin. And we return to live racing action. Waltman, yeah, he's still out front, but there's not been over yet. Hayoshi's 6.7 seconds back. There's still time for him to come through here. Leno looking to make a move on Hayosh. Murphy just behind them. Rose with them as well, as is Chen. So this is not over yet. But what we're really looking at here is Robert Lacroix with Velez and Masters. They are all over each other, as is Tonello, and Douglas. That group of cars right on top of each other here. Travis Bodie and Brett Holmes right behind them as well as the 2.
Yeah, and a very close battle there. That's the battle, probably I'd say about 10th through 15th there, as all those drivers very closely bunched together, Rachel. And that was kind of the part of the field that I took over through the Midway race break there. Those drivers were just as close and have maintained that gap there for the past several minutes. And as the time continues to wind down, those drivers are going to start to give each other a little bit less room every time they try to make a move. But those 3 cars, especially bumper to bumper, as they work their way through the back half of the course.
They are for sure, as we're on board there with Dante Tonello's car. Riding that bumper camera as they head through the quick right-hand corner in towards Sterling. And it's so close now. The banking for that corner kicks us round. And my God, that's fast. Very, very quick indeed. Up clearways towards Clark. We've got 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on our clock tonight. And wow, this one is getting closer, much closer here. I'm nervous to see what will happen with this, guys. This is coming down to the wire. We've got some really tight battles, not just here, but ahead of them and a little bit further back.
Yeah, absolutely. And these drivers are just going to keep getting closer and closer, Rachel, as we can see the battle now here for around P23, as those drivers working their way down the front straightaway. Quias Nilsson from the Lone Star region in the Zone 5 as he works his way down paddock. And we'll see these 2 drivers battle their way back up the hill.
Yeah, they're moving forwards now, trying to get some track position going on. Brody and Douglas, actually no, Brody and Benet were still fighting. Holmes has dropped back a little bit here. Brody made it through there. Benet as well, so let's go back and see if Jensen Benet can get through here on Travis Brody, the 12th place driver. Just ahead of that group. We're still keeping our eyes on Tornello, Masters, Velez and Lacroix. Although I'm seeing here, it's looking like Tornello has made the move there on Masters. He's right behind Tornello there, sorry, right behind Velez there. Lacroix has made a bit of a gap in this one right now, Taylor. He's just found that breathing room he needs to try and secure this spot. 7th place right now. The gap is 7 seconds to 6th place. Hold what you got with the time running down.
Certainly is the case right now, and this is a good opportunity for Dean Chen to try and find a way to get around Robert Rose, but also knows that he has that wiggle room to not really have to worry about what's going on behind him, so he can set his sights focused on Robert Rose to get that 5th position as they came out of Surtees heading down towards the Pilgrim Drop as they work their way down this long straightaway here. He's not close enough to make anything happen into Hawthorne, but if he sets it up right, he could have something heading into the Westfield Bend if he gets a good run out of Hawthorne down the Derek Minter Straight. As we watch on, he's closed the gap now to another 10th to 6/10 of a second as they come towards Dingledale. And then heading up into Dingledale Corner, once again, a great battle between these 2 drivers for that 5th spot.
Super close, in fact, for them. Hayosh's gap is opening up a bit more. Leno, not Lacroix, is holding a pretty secure 3rd place at the moment. 4th place, Sean Murphy, trying to gain time here, but is Leno a little bit too fast? Last time by Murphy did a 127.999. Leno 127.79 0. So little faster here, Taylor. Oh, sorry, Ricky, I'll put this to you actually. Little closer, but not even quick enough to make that amount of time up.
Yeah, and the lap times can differ so much, Rachel. These drivers may have one good lap, but even hitting the rumble strip, like we just saw the number 17 machine do, could take that couple of tenths or couple of hundredths off of a lap time. So really being consistent is what the key is, as we see Velez here in P8 from the northern New Jersey region, and as they work their way down through the rest of the field. But really, it's going to come down to who can produce the more consistent laps and who can really hit their marks every time. Brands Hatch, of course, being a very difficult place for that with all the elevation changes. There's some points where you just have to trust the process and really trust your turn-in points because you can't see the apex of the corner.
Not at all. The apexes can be sometimes incredibly hidden for these guys, but it's all about trusting that faith. And we heard from the interviews, it's about practicing the track and knowing those turning points, getting those blind corners just right to make the moves when you need them. Of course, the club class, this has been an incredibly fast race. We've seen that kind of interlude of a little bit calm before the storm of Pro, perhaps, where these guys have put on an incredibly fast, fair race. We've had a pretty clean run, of course. And as we've seen from every round, the lapping of traffic by our leader, Waltman, hasn't been as much as it was in sport, and definitely not as much as it was in challenge.
No, it certainly has not, Rachel, as we watch on to see what will happen here in the closing laps. Like one car went off, it looks like in Druids, but as we see the rest of your top 5 approaching lap traffic, this could be something that Sean Murphy does not need to have happen, because Robert Rose and Dean Chen are closing in on this battle here as they come up through Surtees and continue on this battle. Sean Murphy's just right in front of him.
They are, for sure, and Sean Murphy trying to do what he can, try and get that positioning. It's not been enough time gain. Last time by 27.697 for Murphy, 27.774, so they're on top of each other. It's hundredths of a second difference. This time Murphy a little faster than Leno, last time Leno a little faster than Murphy. Taylor, is this where we really don't see a change, but it's tantalizingly close, and it might be?
This is the popcorn position type for some of these drivers. One bad mistake, one bad corner, and even though some of these drivers are not right on top of each other like we see Rose and Chen, they are there to capitalize on any mistake anyone else makes. Murphy makes a mistake, that allows Rose and Chen to close in. As we approach the white flag, it's going to be a close one, but remember the last race we had an incident coming to the white flag? This could happen here too as well for our top 5 competitors.
Oh, it is far from over here at Brands Hatch for your club class, brought to us by Michelin. I nearly said the wrong one again. I'm tired.
Don't do that.
And they're both tyres. So, you know, that happens. It is, of course, 3 a.m. in the UK for me, so a little bit darker than it is in the current Brands Hatch you're seeing in front of us at a local time of around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. The white flag is out. It's one more time down Pilgrim's Drop for Jonathan Waltman, and it's been a stonker of a race for him. Absolutely put both feet forwards and just hoofed it through the window. He's gapped these guys, but it has been an incredibly boring race for him. He's had a quiet but incredibly fast run in today's events. Hayosh is nowhere near close enough. He's 7.3 seconds back, and Waltman has just done that very Kimi Raikkonen, a boring, effective, fast thing. There's not a lot more I can say about it. He's just got it done faster than everybody else. Not a single incident, not a foot wrong, just kept it clean, and he'll keep it clean all the way onto the Brabham straightaway and all the way across that line here at Brands Hatch to win in the club class. The quiet man takes it home. James Hayosh will come across the line in second place. Jean-Paul Leno just behind him there, tantalizingly close behind him. Sean Murphy and Robert Rose in 5th place. Guys, this one seemed calm, is the best word to use compared to our other rounds. Peaceful. What are we about to experience?
Yeah, these drivers really did a great job at this. And, you know, I believe these cars may be a little bit easier to kind of save, Rachel. That's why we didn't see quite as many shunts or people going off the track. But, you know, a great job nevertheless for these drivers here in this class tonight. And, you know, I believe it's gonna show us what we can look forward to for our next race here after the rest of the drivers, of course, complete here for the club class.
Most true indeed. There's Travis Brody coming across in P20, Daniel Rubel in 24th, coming to complete their laps here at Brands Hatch. What a race it's been, in fact. There's Klaus Nielsen super close behind him. He's 24th place. Chris Duff, no, it wasn't Chris Duffy. Coming across the line there, they'll come. Rubel and Duffy. Not Duffy, Nielsen. I'll get them right eventually. Moving positions on our track map. Change that one around. We'll go to your post-race results now. Coming home with a win, Jonathan Waltman with James Hayosh in second, Jean-Paul Leno in third, Sean Murphy in fourth, Robert Rose in fifth. Behind them, Dean Chen, Robert Lacroix, Julian Velez, Dante Toronello, Michael D. Masters in 10th place. 11th place, Kevin Douglas with Jensen Benet, Brett Holmes, Colin Schmitz, Bruce Robinson in 15th. Rest of those positions up on your screen. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the finale tonight. The Pro Class. Don't go anywhere.
Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
Welcome back to the fourth and final race of tonight's run here at Brands Hatch for the PCA. We're ready for the Pro Class race, brought to you by Porsche. Porsche's more than a sports car. It's a way of life for all of us, and we appreciate their support of the PCA Sim Racing Series as the Pro Class sponsor. There's a recent 7-minute lap at the Nürburgring in GT3 and the arrival of the all-new 992 GT3 Cup car this US. Porsche's dedication to motorsports is stronger than ever. Find out more about Porsche at www.porsche.com. I realize I said that 2 different ways and I'm English, we're strange. But without that, we're about to head to your grid now for your final pro round tonight. Let's do this thing. Zone number 1's Cameron Martineau with 2nd place, and number 1's Michael Coopersmith. 3rd place, Zone 5's Christopher Pies. Zone 5's Billy Smith II in 4th. 5th place, Zone number 5's Leif Peterson. 6th place, Zone 10's Jordan Dyer. Zone 7th place is Zone number 1's James Huth. Raphael Amarim was Zone 3 in 8th place. 9th place, Zone 5's Matthew Siddle. 10th is Zone 1's Liam Rosickas. 11th place, William Anderson from Zone 5. Zone 13's Trey Drawthorne. Zone 13th place is Zone 13's Joe Stiffel. 14th, Zone 6 is Arthur Chan. And 15th, Zone 7's Rick Reisenberg. Rest of the starting positions on your screen. Rachel Whiteford, Ricky Springer, Taylor Burris, and Ryan Bauer bringing you all the action tonight for this final showdown. Brands Hatch Race 4, the pro race. Smaller field, 25 cars, but this is going to be the big one, I feel. Cars start to move off now as we get ourselves down. Clearways to kick off. This one subtly calm. I expect we're going to have a really hardcore race with this group of guys. We saw amazing racing last time out at Long Beach. Let's bring it home with a bang with the Pro Series here of PCA, brought to you by Porsche. Let's go Porsche racing. Green flag will fly. Good run through Paddock Hill by the field as everyone gets through with no real trouble. Up into Druids. Cameron Martineau trying to hold off the baying mobs here behind him. Cooper Smith, Pies, Smith II, Peterson, Dyer, Huth, Amarim, Siddle. All of them going for it. 2 wide a little bit further back there for 4th and 5th. Top 3 breakaway by Martineau, Cooper Smith and Pies. And the action is non-stop.
Non-stop.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Non-stop racing, yes indeed, Rachel. And as we see through the rest of the field right now, we got a little bit of a battle up towards the front of the field between Christopher Pies, Cameron Martineau to the inside of Pies as they work through Hawthorne Bend. Derek Minter straight now as they approach to the Westfield Bend. Pies is on the outside, Martineau on the inside. Cooper Smith in the pink pig watches on, ready to tackle any one of those positions if an opportunity arises. But Christopher Pies will take over as they head into Dingledale Corner.
He will indeed. Christopher Pies making his way in this race. As what a change we've seen already so far. We've seen our first swap here for the lead 14 car of Pies out front here from Martineau in the 131. Third place is going to be Cooper Smith in the 22 car. That meets Porsche 911. Going forwards pretty quickly here. Billy Smith is second in that group just behind them here, tentatively watching, seeing what they can do with this. A little bit further back the field, all trying to find an opportunity. They're still on the quiet side as they push, looking for those openings. Not quite there yet.
Yeah, but nevertheless, the field very close here, Rachel. In the Pro Class, I believe, at least from what we've seen this season in PCA competition, the Pro Class has had some of the closest racing we've seen all year, as these drivers staying very closely knit. Really no huge gap even between the top three here as we take a ride on board with Cameron from the North Country region of Zone 1 as he works his way through the back half of the course. But you can see the rear view mirror up there in the corner absolutely filled with the rest of the field. Of course, the windshield filled up as well, with Christopher up leading the field, but these drivers staying very closely knit to each other.
Super close here on the field as the entire grouping, like you say, staying right under an umbrella here. Top three have made a small gap, but it's not completely gone yet here on lap 2, coming on to lap 3. Pies, Martineau, Cooper Smith, then it's Billy Smith the second leading the next pack, which goes all the way back to about 15th place here. This is not splitting up at all.
There is not a major gap anywhere on the circuit right now. Cars are with anywhere between a tenth to about 7/10 of a second compared to their competitors right now. The farthest gap probably would have to be back in 21st, where it's about a second gap between Christian Rava and Rich Minkler. But as for that, everyone is one on top of the other, Porsche after Porsche after Porsche, as your top three have broken away from the rest of the field. Billy Smith leads that second group, as you pointed out, Rachel, trying to hold off a hard-charging Leif Peterson, the defending series champion, as they come up through Surtees and then make their way down the backstretch.
Absolutely, down the backstretch indeed, as looking towards the sharp end, it's looking like we're going to battle for our lead yet again. Martineau pressuring Christopher Pies here, looking for an opening to get this thing closed. Can he find a way through? He had the lead, of course, for our qualifying, but is he going to be able to try and get an opening there to make it through? Can he recover his place?
Yeah, and he's very close to the rear bumper of Christopher there as they work their way now coming to the last corner. And that's very dangerous here, Rachel, especially with just the little taps of the brakes these drivers have been hanging on all race long. Getting that close, if the driver in front of you just decides to brake a little early, could be problems. But a lockdown to the inside as those drivers battling hard for the lead.
Trying to find what they can to make a move here. Top three break away, but if they do fight, this will bring Billy Smith a second and the rest of the horde after them, because they're not that far away. They could make it through here, but all it takes is one careless battling in the corner and that pack will be on them in no time.
Certainly is the case here, Rachel, as we keep an eye on things going on throughout the field. One driver, though, I want to go take a look at is Jacob Schum. Now, Jacob Schum is part of the Carolinas region, and they have something special coming up. In fact, PCA Sim Racing and PCA Carolinas region are hosting a charity race event supporting U.S. and Canadian service veterans. All funds raised will go to Operation Motorsports. Operation Motorsports provides opportunities for disabled, injured, and medically retired vets. Even giving a little will help this worthy cause, and your donation is tax deductible. Over 40 PCA Sim Racing teams and over 90 drivers will compete in this 3-hour race at the world-famous Le Mans circuit. Each team will have 2 racers conducting driver changes, pit stop, and endurance racing strategy. The charity race program will be streamed live on YouTube Sunday, May 30th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And the famous Radio Le Mans broadcast announcer, John Hindhall, will be joining the broadcasting team. For more information, visit pcasimracing.com/OPMO. And to sponsor one of the teams donating to Operation Motorsports, visit pledgeit.org/4/Operation-Motorsports.
An important cause, of course, and a great way to celebrate that and show people how much fun this can be. Michael Cooper-Smith there, nose inside. Cameron Martineau, this is the kind of battling that will bring Billy Smith a second. Leif Peterson and the rest of those guys right on top of them here. This will really open matters up as the rest of our field, they're running pretty much in line here as we've got a couple of cars racing, but in general, this isn't all of them super close, Taylor, but they're just, no one's quite caught anyone yet to pass them.
I think that's one of the things some of these drivers are trying to just get through. Get into that rhythm, wait for the right time to make those passes, because I think these drivers know how to handle this course compared to some of the other classes where they feel like they had to make the pass once they caught their competitors. These drivers are showing a lot more restraint, a lot more patience, waiting for the right time to make said pass on their competitors here today, as you're on board with Michael Cooper-Smith right now as they work their way out of Clark Curve, heading down the Brabham Straight before they head back once again into Paddock Hill Bend. But with these drivers going single file right now, that is allowing drivers such as Billy Smith to close in on this battle here in the top three, as you're on board with Rafael Amorim, who's in P8 right now, and still in close contention to have a shot of battling for a podium finish. That's what all these drivers, Rachel, have, is they're so competitive, this class is, that any one of these drivers here in the top 20 at least has a shot of a podium finish.
They all do. Everything is completely on the table with this one, and we can't wait to see what will happen. Who forgot there's a big mover so far today? Nobody. Everyone's largely in order. Liam Mazinkas went back to 22nd from 10th. He had a bit of an incident on his own back there, so unfortunate for him. But everyone else running roughly where they started. Biggest move, I think, is about 2-3 places. Actually, Jacob Shum, the guy we were just showing, is up 4 places. Nope. It was. It's now 2. But he's still moving. Top 10 is largely the similar order we expected so far, Ricky. There's been some position changes, but they're all still those guys. No one's really broken in yet.
Yeah, the field really just kind of maintaining their spots. I agree with what Taylor said. These drivers giving a whole lot of patience and really showing the respect to not make some very risky moves, especially early on in the race. Just not even 10 minutes in the books yet for the pro class, and these drivers showing a lot of restraint to kind of ride it out until the end half of this race, and that's very evident for the top 3 drivers who are just bumper to bumper through the beginning half of the course and have been for the past 8 minutes, Rachel.
Very much so, and right now the race at the front is so close. We will be keeping our eyes on this one. Martineau is harassing Christopher Pies here. He wants his way through, but he just cannot find an opening.
He certainly cannot, Rachel. He is trying to find that opening, but everywhere he tries to peek his nose, he cannot get it, because we know Christopher Pies is also being very good with the defensive driving, setting the car in the right position to where if Martineau wanted to, he could, but it would be difficult for Martineau to complete the pass, and that's what Christopher Pies is doing, running his line and preventing Martineau from making those passes. As you see, he might make a small little move to get set up for the next corner. That prevents Martineau from setting up for making that pass complete as they work their way towards this back straightaway here, heading to Clark's Curve.
Certainly are, and Clark Curve coming up now for your lead group. And it's become a 4-car breakaway. Billy's been second to join his group as they've been fighting. It's allowed him to close in, but he's still hanging back a little bit now. As we're going to see a run here by Martineau. Pies goes to the inside to try and defend that line. We'll see a good run here by Martineau as he took the outside, gives him momentum. Can he tuck to the inside here? He's going to go for the dive. Climbing up Pilgrim's Rise, doesn't have enough time to make it through. Tucks back behind Christopher Pies, and we'll get in line there. As we're going to have our interviews now, whilst you watch this lead battle, we'll bring in the guys from us. Well, that doesn't look like the guys from our race in question here. We've got Jonathan Waltman here, who is our winner. I was surprised to see Glenn Dennis down there, but no, it was Jonathan Waltman that won this race. That was a quiet but calm, very fast run by you, Jonathan.
Thank you. I actually had a little bit of excitement because I almost didn't put enough fuel in the car, so last 5 laps or so I had to start conserving a bit to make sure I didn't go empty.
Looks like fuel was a bit of a concern a little bit further back, but overall that car seemed to just melt to the track. You didn't seem to have many issues.
No, it was great. You know, got got a little bit hot, a little bit slippery toward the end, but other than that, yeah, it was great.
Certainly looked that way. Of course, great points for you on the board. Is this something you're now looking towards the championship with?
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm looking forward to move up to pro next series, so trying to make my case here, and obviously a win would make a very good case.
I think the case is definitely being stated. Well, anybody like to give a shout out to or thank?
Friends and family who support me, Hagerty Motorsports for putting on excellent broadcasts, PCA sponsors, everyone for putting this on.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Jonathan Waltman, and coming home today with a win in your club class. Next up, Ricky standing by with James Hayosh.
Yeah, and James Hayosh bringing home the second spot in the club class. And we saw a whole lot of interesting moves throughout the night, but the club class was really the beginning of what we got to see in the pro race, showing it off as well. But James, a great job bringing it home, second step on the podium. Take us through what your race was like.
Well, it was certainly a testy start. I made a few mistakes and somehow managed to keep the car on the track. Got bumped back to about fourth and found my way back up a little bit through some bit of luck. But all in all, I just tried to not do what I've done in my last races, which was just make big errors and mistakes. I just tried to be consistent and not overdrive, and I guess it kind of paid off.
Yeah, and a well done job for you. And this has been a very difficult track. We've seen a lot of drivers kind of struggle here. What was your key? Was it the practice that really got you honed in on this track, or previous experience here?
Some timing on this track, and there's something about it that I kind of enjoy. It is complicated, and something about that I think just makes it a bit more interesting. And then when you drive safe on a difficult track, I feel like it just it reaps rewards too, because there's a lot of areas that make you want to be brave, but they will definitely not turn out well if you try too hard. So I was just trying to keep it cool. Love this track. Kind of reminds me of Road America, and Long Beach last week is just a totally different story, and had a bad result there, so wanted to just try and be consistent and do the best I could on a complicated track like this.
Absolutely, but nevertheless, a phenomenal job. And finally, is there anybody you'd like to thank for the second place finish?
Well, certainly, starting off, my wife, who lets me come and do this probably more than I should be, and taking care of the kids at night when I come down here. I'm working. Let's keep that between us. I'm working down here, and obviously the sponsors, Porsche Pirelli, Michelin, and my zone group is fantastic. 2 and 4. We put on great stuff. Great group of guys, but also all the zones, because everyone's super cool with letting everyone jump in on practices and track walks. So just a great group and great league to be part of.
For sure, and that was our second place finisher, James Hayosh, as our third place finisher is now down with our very own Taylor Burris.
Here with third place finisher, as we have Jean-Paul Leno coming up. John, a great race for you, a little bit interesting, and as we saw some great races for you inside the top 5. What were some of the things that you noticed that provided some challenges for you in today's race?
Well, I seem to struggle in the starts. They got the orange flag lap, and I'm trying to be conservative and not be too aggressive. So I've been struggling with my starts, and I ended up running about 7th, and somehow I got lucky and here with a little bit of skill and a lot of luck. So I lucked out in one of the earlier laps where somebody went off track and I was able to pass a couple of cars. So yeah, that helped a lot.
Anyone or anything that you noticed that provided some things that you look forward to about coming to this track? I mean, this track is probably one of those tracks that provides that unique challenge, but also is very fun, as it's pretty much the elevation changes.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. You get in a flow and just try to hit your marks and make sure you don't drop any wheels off into the grass. And yeah, as long as you keep on the asphalt, it's a lot of fun.
Well, anyone you would like to say thank you to, Jean, as before we let you go?
Oh yeah, thanks to all the sponsors, and especially I got a couple of fans who watch all my race my brother Louie and my wife Deborah. It's a shout out to them.
All right, that is Jean-Paul Leno coming home in P3 as we get ready to finish up here these last few minutes here at Brandsat. Rachel.
Very much so. Well, that was our midway. No, it's not our midway. That was our interviews. But we are about to go into our midway race report here for the Pro Class. And of course, that is brought to us by Porsche. And they're more than just a sports car. It's a way of life for all of us. And we appreciate their support in the PCA Sim Racing as the Pro Class sponsor. With this recent sub-7-minute lap at the Nürburgring in the GT3 and the arrival of the all-new 992 GT3 Cup car to the US, Porsche's dedication to motorsports is stronger than ever. Find out more about Porsche at www.porsche.com. With that, folks, let's hit our midway race break here, leading the way, and it's been a very hectic race. Christopher Pies, the Lone Star region, zone number 5, Texas driver, that 14 car out front here, battling hard with the guys around him. It's actually going to be Michael Coopersmith in a moment, as we did lose earlier on the car of Martineau. P2, Coopersmith, the 22nd car, Hudson Valley region, zone 1. Going for this, looking at the inside there, but he's not going to be right there in time to hold it. He'll stick his nose in and hold it, actually. Big move for second place there. Behind them, it's Billy Smith, the third. Second, who's in third place. Numbers, they're fun. Starting position back from where he is now, but he's moving forwards here. Maverick region driver, zone 5 there. Another Maverick region driver is Leif Peterson, the 913, who's also running really, really well here today. Teammate, of course, of Pies. Behind them, Jordan Dreyer in the number 9, the Schlangenstein region, zone number 10. P6 is James Huth, zone 1, and from the Hudson Champlain region, in that 12 car, Huth is up 1 place so far. 7th place is Raphael Amarim in the 16 car, Peach State region, zone number 3, and he's keeping this thing moving. 8th place is Matthew Siddle from the Lone Star region, zone 5. Big Texas turnout, of course, for these races. The 55 car making its way forwards as well. P9, Trey Drawthorne coming up here. He's up 3 places from where he started in 12th. The 395 car from the Chicago region of zone 13. Ricky?
Yeah, in the 10th spot, it's going to be William Anderson in the number 41 machine from the Longhorn region of zone 5. The 11th spot, it's going to be Arthur Chan in the Canada West region of zone 6 and the number 50 machine just on the tail of William as they work their way into turn 1. 12th spot, we go Joe Stifler and the 003 machine from the Chicago region of Joe zone 13, still running the Tiger paint scheme. We spoke about that last week, and what an interesting paint scheme. Hopefully he doesn't go through the grass, though. Got some fake grass on the grill. Don't want to cake it up with real grass. In the 13th spot, it's going to be Jacob Schum in the number 56 machine. It kind of looks like the mystery machine. Not sure how I feel about that one. Maybe going to solve some mysteries there, but he is from zone 3. That 56 machine again. 15th spot, going to be Ed in the 929, or I apologize. Yes. No, the 14th spot is going to be Rick from the Dubai region of zone 7 and the number 10 machine just on the rear bumper. 15th spot going to be Cameron Martineau, who ended up falling back from the beginning of the race here, was running up front, one of our top runners all season long here in the Pro Class from the North Country region of zone 1. 16th spot going to be Chris Brum, and he is going to be from the Northeast region of zone 1. Very interesting scheme. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. 17th spot is going to belong to Stefan Chen, who is from the Dubai region of zone 7 in car number 8. 18th spot going to belong to Liam in the Upper Canada region of zone 1. Taylor.
19th is going to go to Ed Eisenring from the Pacific Northwest region, car 929, having a quiet night, trying to see if he can work his way up through the field with a little better spot. 20th position will be Rich Minkler from the Rocky Mount region, car 76, in right hot pursuit of him as they go through Druids, keeping up, trying to see if they can continue this battle and work their way up. 21st goes to Mark Heath from the St. Louis region, all by his lonesome in car number 34, the HBR Porsche. Having a quiet night, but hoping to see if he can gain a couple more spots before tonight is over with. 22nd is the 18 of Carlos Lopez, and that black number 18 Porsche has about a 6-second gap to get up to Mark Heath, but see what he can do in the closing stages. 23rd is Richard Franco in car 173 from the Potomac region, as he is working his way through. Quiet night for him as he is the last car on the lead lap. 24th goes to Christian Rava from the Suncoast, Florida region, and that I would call it maybe a light blue or robin's egg blue. And then Rodney Campbell is off the track, out of tonight's race.
Well, that'll be our Midway race report, brought to you by Pirelli. Not Pirelli, Porsche. Yes, Porsche. The race tonight has been incredibly busy, as trying to remember which sponsor you're reading out is always the tough one there, but Mr. Pies knows what he's reading, and it's the track very, very well. He's out front here ahead of Cooper Smith and Billy Smith II, who has caught fully up now to this group as the top three run away, and he is really defending this one. Pies has took this one early, Ricky, but he is holding on strong.
Yeah, but definitely not without pursuit. Those drivers have looked pretty much the same up at the front half of the field. Rachel, everybody's still staying relatively well spaced out, and Christopher up at the front of the field has done a phenomenal job of not making any mistakes as we're inside of 8 minutes to go here in this race. So just a few full laps remaining, has yet to make a mistake. But Joe, in that machine right there, as we were just talking about him during the midway race break, as we take a look at the P10 position here in the 003 from the Chicago region, as we take a ride off the back of his machine. And a great battle right there, Rachel, for around the 10th spot.
Very much so, as Joe Stiffel there trying to keep fighting behind him. Jacob Shum, James Huth ahead, Arthur Chan. So a good knot of cars here battling it out on the track, as Bros have put on a really fast run today. We're seeing some really quick lap times. Times are down about 2-3 seconds compared to some of the other classes, guys. Taylor, this is really fast. These guys are pushing it hard.
Well, these are the best of the best the PCA has to offer, Rachel. They know a thing or two about getting around these circuits. I mean, looking at their ratings here, looking at these drivers, I mean, you have drivers who have 2, 3, even 5,000 iRating. iRating, of course, for those of you who are new to the world of iRacing, is a rating system that ranks how skilled of a driver you are. The higher your iRating is, the higher and more tougher the competition you will be competing against is. And for the PCA, these drivers are the best of the best. These are former champions of the PCA, former winners, as well as longtime competitors. Drivers such as Christopher Pies and Michael Coopersmith have been competitors and winners in this series, while Billy Smith, Lee Peterson, former and defending champions of the PCA Sim Racing Series. As you're on board with Coopersmith, who is in a major battle right now with Christopher Pies. It is Texas versus up towards the New York area, and we're going to see what they can do as they work their way through the Pink Pig, trying to find his way around as Billy Smith watches on.
Certainly is Billy Smith trying to get an opening here for something. He's going to be the guy in the catbird seat, I think, Ricky, that will take advantage should we see dirt happen ahead of him. And Cooper Smith's looking pretty hungry right now, like that pork car of his.
Yeah, and I think that's the best spot that Billy can be in right there, especially if he doesn't feel that he has quite the speed to be able to get up there and actually make the moves to pass the two cars in front of him. So a good spot to be a couple car lengths off of these drivers. We saw, I believe it was at the end of the sport race earlier on tonight, a couple of drivers get together racing hard for position. But the only difference that we are seeing here about the racing, especially up at the front of the field in the pro class, that was very different through every series that we have seen tonight, has been the lap traffic. We're not seeing a whole ton of lap traffic, if any, here tonight, Rachel, in the pro class, which is making it a lot easier for these drivers up at the front of the field to more just kind of be concerned about the race around themselves, as Coopersmith getting ever closer to our leader.
He certainly is. Coopersmith trying to get through here on Pies. Pies having to really defend hard here, actively defending against the cars behind him. The gap there, 0.6 of a second total for the top three. That is really, really close here. And we're just seeing a different class of racing here. This is wheel-to-wheel stuff that we really miss seeing, but it's definitely been action-packed. As once again, another look here as he gets a little close, but can't quite find the opening.
Cooper Smith tried the crossover move out of paddock hill. Here's a big send by Billy Smith II as they go through Druids. Was totally caught off guard, I think, for Cooper Smith to see that happen as they come up through Surtees as they work their way through. A great battle between these three drivers as Christopher Pye was able to get away, break away from Billy Smith and Cooper Smith as they come through Surtees and heading down this long straightaway here. This could be an opportunity for Pye, if he gets a good run, to start to pull a little bit of a gap now, as the gap is about 0.2 of a second between Cooper Smith and Christopher Pye as you're on board with Billy Smith as they head through this corner.
Very much looking for an opportunity now to make it through, coming up towards Dingledale, and Michael Cooper Smith just cannot find that opening. It's been tough to focus on anybody else really in this race because this has been so close for the lead. Behind them, Siddle is trying to look for an opportunity. Peterson and Dyer right next to each other as well. We have great backing a little bit further back with Arthur Chan here, with Martineau and Stiffel. Martineau, of course, trying to fight back after his pole position was lost to a bit of an incident he had. We have a black flag called by race control for Rafael Amarim. He will have to go and serve that one, but I believe he has already. So it is surprisingly action-packed. Chris Brown and Liam Radzikis racing together as well. A little bit further back, they're trying to recover positions, both of them. The guys just ahead here from Schum, Martineau, Chan, Stiffel, Anderson, all racing hard as we've got a bit of a battle here. Martineau looking for the door on Arthur Chan. Through Druids will come and he'll make that move.
Yeah, and absolutely motoring up through the field is Cameron Martineau from the North Country region, and you can see off the back of that car already pulling a gap from the drivers behind him, as now he is going on to focus on to William Anderson and the 41 machine up in front of him. But the battle for lead still heating up here, Rachel, as Billy Smith has now fallen off of the back of Cooper Smith. Those drivers still staying very close together, almost touching as they work their way through the back half of the course.
Totally are, and the back half of the course is actually one of the most fun parts. Oh, yeah. Really, really tough racing for this one, and it's such a track that you really feel like you have to put some work into this one, of course, Taylor, to drive the place, never mind race it, so it's a double.
It is a double whammy. I mean, you have to try to utilize the right opportunities to hit your marks through this corner because of the constant elevation changes. And we're going to really see if Christopher Pye has what it takes here as the white flag is out. One more time for your top three. It's going to be a barnstorming finish here as they come through Druids. Here they come out of there. Billy Smith is able to gain a couple of tenths through that corner. Christopher Pye was able to pull a little bit of a gap over Cooper Smith, trying to find some breathing room.
Looking for an opportunity now. This last lap will be a huge one. We'll have to see what they can do to make it happen. But Christopher Pye is holding on here as long as he can. Those fingertips hooked onto the bar. Can he just keep that grip a microsecond longer? That's going to be all it needs, because Michael Cooper is hanging from his legs and trying to pull him down. It will not happen yet. We'll have to see if he has anything left for this one. It's going to be really tough, but oh wow, it's super close here. Coming up now, Dingledale heading through towards Stirling. Will there be any opportunity? It's not looking like it. Will Christopher Pye hold them off? Clearways down towards Clark, and it could be a run for the line here, depending on the run that Cooper Smith can get. He hangs back, he goes for the run. Is it going to be close enough? I don't think it is. Big run by Christopher Pye. Perfect corner. And through he'll come. Christopher Pye takes the win here at Brands Hatch. Closely followed by Cooper Smith and Smith. What a run there. Leif Peterson, Jordan Dyer will bring it across the line. Guys, that one was epic finish.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal finish as these drivers were bumper to bumper the whole entire race. And I mean, Rachel, you can see the speed of these cars is definitely up even through the mid-pack. We're already back to 17th place, I believe, crossing the line now. So these drivers were 100% on their game tonight, and everybody throughout the field very fast, and a lot of respect from these pro drivers.
Very much what happened tonight. An epic race from these guys, all over each other from the drop of the flag to the drop of the flag a second time. That made more sense in my head. But what a run we've seen. Pies really held this one on. Big fight back by Cameron Martin to come home in 8th place from his incident early on. He now brings it back at least to a top 10 finish, which is great for him. Trey Drawthorne there with the 7th place finish. Really, really good one. These guys put on a great show.
Remember when we talked about Will Waldron, who had that incident, Rachel? This race here for Cameron Martineau could be one of those determining factors of how he was able to fight back here, but another exciting race here for the PCA. I think this is the best one yet we've seen so far this season.
Absolutely. One of the closest, best races we've had in this series, and the cleanest overall. Only 3 cars finished not on any lap, and only one of those cars didn't finish overall. An insanely good quality race tonight from these guys. And folks, we're going to hopefully get a chance to chat to some of our drivers here from this round in just a minute. But first, our results. Christopher Pies brings it home with the win there tonight with Michael Cooper-Smith in 2nd, Billy Smith II in 3rd place, Jordan Dyer in 4th, 5th place, Leif Peterson. Behind them is Matthew Siddle, Trey Drawthorne, Cameron Martineau, William Anderson and Joe Stiffel in 10th, 11th place being Arthur Chan, Jacob Shum in 12th, 13th, James Huth, Rick Reisenberg 14th, Liam Mazikis in 15th. The rest of those positions are on your screen as we get a big donut there by Michael Pies on the line. We're going to have a chance to chat to those guys in just a second, but your highlights from tonight, Ricky?
I thought it was an absolutely phenomenal race, all the way from our challenge class to the pro class here. The 2 different cars produced 2 different types of racing, and these drivers did not disappoint all night long. But I agree with Taylor's point earlier. The pro race that we saw tonight was probably among the best that we've seen all season to date.
Certainly is. And Taylor, your thoughts?
The excitement that we saw all throughout the races, the storylines that we saw, as well as the motivation of comebacks was probably the theme of the theme word for tonight's racing we saw. Will Waldron making mistakes, coming back up to the field to finish 2nd. Cameron Martineau with another mistake, spinning out, dropping all the way back outside the top 10, climbing back deep inside the top 10 for a good finish for that. That's probably some of the amazing racing that you will always see here week in and week out with the PCA Sim Racing.
We have a chance to chat to them here. In fact, we have Christopher Pies joining us right now. Christopher, a very, very, very tense race for you, trying to hold off the baying hordes.
Yes, that was probably the most intense race I've had with the PCA Sim series. I think I spent more time looking in my rearview mirror than actually looking out the front windshield. I knew I wasn't as fast as some of these guys that qualified almost a half second ahead of me, but the track position and track placement is really important here, and as I kind of proved, if you put the car in the right spot, it makes it really hard to pass.
Certainly does, of course. And just how was it going through the whole race here, trying to keep people back, having to focus on the rearview mirror as much as your windshield?
Right, and that's what it was. It was strategic placement of my car going into brake zones, especially into turn 1, making sure that I had that inside line covered, so if anybody was going to make a move, they'd have to go the long way around, and making sure that my car was tactically in the way, so to speak, when people might make a move. So I'm really pleased with that drive. Got to hand it to Michael Cooper-Smith and Billy Smith behind me, and Cameron as well until he had his incident. They're fierce competitors. They gave me a run for everything I got. I laid it all out there.
Certainly did. A fantastic run nonetheless. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, of course, Porsche Exchange, thanks so much for sponsoring our zone group, and then also my real life team, both Denton Brothers Racing and Casey Carden Motorsports. You guys rock. Thanks for letting me do this in real life.
Certainly very much a true case there, and thank you very much, Christopher Pies, coming home today with the win. Next up, we're going to have a chance to chat to your 2nd place finisher, Michael Cooper-Smith.
Hello.
Yep, Michael Coopersmith here with me. You brought it home in second place to here, Michael. You did the same thing at Long Beach, just not quite enough to get our leader here tonight. And what was the difference out there on the track?
I think I had pretty good pace all week, and I was pretty consistent and smooth. And I just was a little more consistent in qualifying this week than last week. And it's so hard if you fall behind to catch up. So just starting in second was a little easier than starting further back in the grid.
Yeah, and you put on a great show for the fans here watching the PCA competition here tonight. A very close race and a very interesting race at that. And, 2 second-place finishes in a row has to give you some momentum onto next week.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel like I've had really good pace in practice all week and in our prelude. So I feel like I'm right there, and I just need to clean a few things up to get that first place.
Absolutely. Well, always room for improvements and always positives to take out of the night. And Michael, finally, is there anybody you'd like to thank for your second place finish tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Hagerty and Porsche, and everyone at PCA who makes this possible. I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me, all my friends and family who support me, and everyone who helps me out.
Yep, and a great job, and we look forward to hearing from you next week. And that was Michael Coopersmith bringing it home in the second place finishing position, and our very own Taylor Burris is now down with Billy Smith, the third place finisher.
Here with Billy Smith coming home in P3 here tonight at Brands Hatch. Billy, you had I pretty much would have to say, did you have the popcorn ready for you when you were battling it out and watching the battle between Coopersmith as well as Christopher Pies?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was going back and forth in my mind, like, do I try to pass or just let them, try to fight it out? And I think, honestly, the best bet would have been to, just keep letting them, fight it out. And, I mean, of course, Chris drove a perfect or very nearly perfect race. So it's just incredibly tough to pass here.
What is the allure of Brands Hatch that makes it, like you said, so difficult to pass?
Well, there's not really any straightaways. There's only, I would say, probably 2 corners where you can really pass, where it doesn't switch back and immediately anyways. And it's just so hard to get a run, especially in these cars and being so even.
Well, before we let you go, Billy, and we look ahead to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the next round, your thoughts there and anyone you would like to say thank you to?
I think Mid-Ohio is going to be very interesting. I think you'll see, I know this last week and this week we didn't really see any passing, some fighting a little bit, but not much passing. I think that'll be a little bit different at Mid-Ohio, so it should be fun and entertaining to watch. And I just want to say hi to my girlfriend, Lily, and thanks to you guys for putting this on.
Not a problem, and we look forward to seeing you at the next round at Mid-Ohio. That is, of course, Billy Smith coming home in P3 here tonight. Rachel?
An awesome race we had tonight, of course, and a fantastic run from these guys. All 4 classes, the challenge, the sport, the club, and the pro. A phenomenal round here tonight at Brands Hatch from some amazing drivers put on by an amazing group of people. Well, folks, don't forget we have some really cool stuff coming up in the coming week. There's going to be plenty of time to tune into those. You'll find some more information out on, of course, the Podium Esports Twitter page, best place to go for that. But don't forget to join us next time for race number 5 at Mid-Ohio on the 19th. And for Doug Atkinson, Jim Hemmig, and the steering committee at the PCA Sim Racing community, for James Pike, Gary Sexton, Cisco Scaramuza, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, and for our producer Ryan Bauer, my colleagues Ricky Springer and Taylor Burris, I'm Rachel Whiteford. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the PCA Sim Racing presented by Hagerty. We hope you'll join us next week. See you then.